Good afternoon. This is Harold Zawatsky. I'm the chair of the Fairfield Board of Assessment Appeals. Today is Wednesday, September the 8th. The time is 5:06 p.m. We are in the Town Hall Conference Room, and this meeting is to hear motor vehicle assessment appeals that are being brought to the board for consideration. I call this meeting to order, and I will ask the recording secretary to please do the roll call.
Okay, good evening. Kathleen Griffin? Here. Alexis Harrison?
Alexis will be joining us later, and I would ask everyone to use their outside voices because it's being picked up by this phone here.
Peter Rupert?
Peter will be joining us later.
Harold Zawatsky?
Here.
Monique Patel?
Here.
Doug Boyer?
Here.
Judy Zablack?
Here.
Catherine Giff? Here. Colette Kuzo?
Here.
That completes the roll call.
Thank you. All right, so we have about a half a dozen people here for appeals. I will call you up one at a time. I'll swear you in, and then you could tell us the focus of your appeal. First person who came in is Lori Schaefer.
Here.
If you could come up to the podium.
Sure.
And if you could raise your right hand, I'll swear you in.
Sure.
You solemnly swear that the information you shall give concerning the assessment appeal now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Very good. Thank you. So, you reside at 720 Silver Springs in Fairfield?
Yes.
And your vehicle is a 1997 BMW
Z3.
Z3?
Yeah.
Fun car. And what year is it?
1997.
I read that. All right, thank you very much. 1997. So tell us about your appeal.
The car, from what I understand, is more than 20 years old. I have had it for probably 5-6 years now. It was my father's car. He lived in Naples, Florida, and when he passed away, I brought the car up here and had it totally fixed up by Fairfield Motor Cars. It is in excellent condition. It has 35,000 miles on it, and it's a beautiful car. I don't know if anybody wants me to pass around these photos that I brought.
Yes, we will pass this around.
They might be sticking together. I also brought the application for the appeal.
So what is your request of your appeal?
Well, from what I understand, the taxes on a car that's 20 years old should be reduced to $10 per year.
And what is your current tax? Do you have that document?
Yes, I do. $94.70 per year for this particular year.
Sorry, what was the annual tax on that?
The annual, I'm sorry?
What's the annual tax on that?
$94.70.
And what is your request?
Well, from what I understand, the taxes on a 20-year-old vehicle in the town of Fairfield, it should be $10. When I spoke to the assessor, they told me that.
Wish I had known that.
Does anyone know that that's true?
I have a question. You have a plastic plate on it? You don't, do you?
No, this is the first that I talked to the assessor a month ago, and she told me to she told me to download this off the computer, and also to write, to come to the Board of Appeals here with the actual, this is what you guys, have on the computer. Shows the pictures that I had to present, and the car is in mint condition. And I rarely drive it because it was supposed to rain today. I said, I'm not bringing the car, so.
The car is valued at, $3,510. That's what the tax is based on, right?
I have no idea.
It says value
Oh,
$3,510.
okay. Well, I just don't think the value matters. I think it's the age of the car. It's a nice,
This is Kathleen. We should probably ask the assessor's office, but I'm pretty sure if you have a plastic plate on the car, Connecticut plastic plate, that will help you out. I know I have one that's more than 20 years old, and I've got a plastic plate on mine.
how did you get that classic plate?
DMV. Yeah, Department of Motor.
I try to avoid the DMV as much as possible.
Maybe they have it online these days, I don't know, but I don't wanna give you that information, but I know mine has that, and I believe the reason I did it was because, the taxes can be a lot lower on the plastic cars. So that might be something you wanna check.
Okay, but I believe that the town of Fairfield allows any car that's 20 years old or older to, have that reduced rate. That's what,
Yeah,
basically it states.
I don't know that
This is Paulette, I have a question. Is that a four-cylinder or a six-cylinder?
It's a V6.
V6, okay, thank you.
It's a 1997. Yeah.
If that's the rule, that's the rule. Is it on the website?
Somebody should find that,
Yeah.
should know that.
So I have the car here in the book. It's the,
Are we deliberating now, or are we just hearing?
I think we're,
it's a Z3
Mm-hmm.
four-cylinder car.
No,
Cylinder.
six-cylinder. It's a V6.
2.8. The value range is a low of 28 to a high of 95.50, and the average is 5,350, and you're being assessed at 3,000 something.
3510.
35.
But is this the rule of all cars over 20 years old? Yeah.
That's what this says.
where did you,
Where do you see that?
It's written
can
here.
we see that, please?
Part of your,
Website.
Okay, thank you.
the town of
Thank you
Fairfield.
for printing it out for us.
Yeah.
I printed it out.
Can I?
Yeah, please.
After you
No,
get it,
I'll look at it,
the whole
okay.
program, I can look at it.
I don't know, I have them on my iPhone, so you can keep them.
Do you want me to take a copy, or can we keep them?
Okay.
Whatever you want to do, whatever is appropriate.
Is the vehicle here?
Can I see
Yes.
that?
No, it's at home. I don't drive it when there's rain in the forecast.
Yeah, I'm just finishing it because I haven't read it.
Yeah, I'll tell Harold.
Or special interest
Alexis has been waiting for 50
shall
minutes,
not
she
be
can't get on.
assessed more than 500.
Okay.
Thank you.
Tell her to look at the comments because it's a different, code to use in the comments.
Did you look at the comments?
The car does not have to have a classic license plate. This is a car,
to be
it just has to be 20 years old, and this car is more than that.
It has to meet a certain statute of Connecticut. That's what that says. Doesn't say $10. It says,
No, that's what you charge, $10 per year. I spoke to the assessor about this whole thing before I even started this.
It'll prompt her for a code.
Oh, they gave you the wrong link.
We published the wrong
They published the wrong link. So when you call.
Where's that $10 thing here? I didn't see it in here.
That second paragraph is, like, you know, she's going verbally on what the assessor told her, but we don't have.
That's more than $500, but that's a special interest vehicle.
If it meets those definitions.
Harold.
So I don't know that
Antique,
she
rare,
proved
special
that
interest.
I don't.
I
I think that's
as a
the
glass
one.
host of a Concours at Lime Rock, I would not call that a special.
You don't need them back?
No, you
They're-
can keep them if you like. I have them on my iPhone.
To determine, I think that is
Yeah.
what Kathleen, I think, is probably talking
Yeah,
about, the
okay.
application for the classic car.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, try that.
But where was that $10 per year that she was talking about?
I think that's a verbal from.
Do you know when you're done with that, can I take a
Here,
look?
you wanna take a look at that? Everybody wants to look at this.
So the deal is it has to qualify as antique.
Antique special interest, so.
Where'd she go?
I think you might wanna look at this as well.
Special interest, it's probably not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not, no.
Antique, vintage, of historic value, no.
Where'd she go down to Hasbro? Where'd Kathleen go? Because what do you think he's gonna say?
Carol, do you think that copy is on? I think you need to get two copies of these,
Got my over. Oh, hi, Peter.
This also
Yeah.
picture that they show, which is why I
Peter has
took the
joined the
pictures
meeting
that I did.
at 5:17.
You're here.
Yeah, those,
If you wanna,
an active learning, here's the section, antique, motive.
Hi, this is Alexis Harrison.
hi, Alexis, you're in.
Okay, thank you.
Joined the meeting at, 5:18. Thank you, Alexis.
Yeah, I just
Did she
used
get a
the link that was on the agenda and that didn't work, so the public probably can't get in here either.
Yes, but there should be a comment, there that directs them to the other, number. There was an error
Yeah,
in
but that code,
public.
that code doesn't work either.
Issued under section 1420.
That code doesn't
The
work either.
1269441 does not work.
So,
So the assessment,
If she has a special place.
Wouldn't it be nice, maybe we make copies for everybody now?
one, four, five,
Is Kathleen doing that?
We got this from the,
is it the whole number?
Yeah, the whole.
See, this lady is prepared.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not.
Prepared, it's just.
She's prepared. All right.
She has to take her.
Do you have my tax statement?
No, I think we're trying to, I'm personally trying
Okay,
to
so, all
interpret
right,
the
so, here, this
classification.
states it. Okay, except that antique for which number plates have been issued.
Yep.
Yes, so RICO, that argument.
Right, yep, the number plate, no number plate
Because of
issue.
that. Right. Yeah, so it doesn't fall in that. It's unfortunate, I'd like to help them, but it doesn't fall in that.
Maybe we could help her by,
Oh, I have it.
by looking at Kelly. Yeah, I
It's not very
Oh,
much.
she should have $90 a year.
Yeah, you know what?
Can you make copies of these next door?
Of me, of all the biggest car wash on the planet.
Sorry.
I love to give everybody a break.
Oh,
you are?
Well, it's really in writing that, any car 20 years older or older is considered a classic.
Yeah.
Does any board member have any information, any additional information to add to this?
I guess it's never been, or there's no history that this car is some kind of antique or historical or anything like that, that would put it under that classification of classic.
Any car that's 20 years old or older, according to the state of Connecticut, is a classic car. Yes, it's written right there.
But, excuse me, this is Paula, it also says that
There's
something about
a special
special
plate.
number plates. Do you have a special plate?
I have a normal plate. When I bought the car, actually, I didn't buy the car. My father left me the car, and it came up from Florida, and I just registered it.
Okay.
That was it, at motor vehicle.
I'd love to make
It was 2012.
Kathleen?
so we
Yeah,
can have it.
so, this is Kathleen, so I just asked the assessor, there's two ways. First of all, it's not $10, it will be assessed at $500. And that means, so whatever the mill rate is, the amount may fluctuate, but the assessed value of the vehicle would be $500. And there's two ways you can get it. You can get it by, if your car is more than 20 years old, you can get a plastic plate on your car through the DMV, and that would get you the $500.
I'm not going down to the DMV to get a plastic
So
plate.
So your other choice then is probably, and I don't know, it looks like you may have filled it out, and then you just have to prove that it's sort of being preserved, that the car is being preserved for a reason, and then that would be through the application and the photos that you submit with your application. So that's the way I understand, those are the two ways you can get the assessment at $500.
Oh, well, she did prove.
Excuse me, the car is 23 years old, and it is qualified to be considered a classic car according to that definition. I'm pretty smart, okay? And basically, that definition tells me that my car is a classic because it is over 20 years old. That's what that says.
Doesn't the car have to have an antique plate to be?
No, that was one way, you could get an antique
There's
plate.
two ways, or the second way, I believe, is, and again, I don't know the specific statute, but the assessor.
It's written there.
You need to fill, it is there, you fill out the form, and then you have to.
I'm not putting a classic plate on my
Oh,
car.
so that's ruled out for you, so the other way to do it is to fill out the form, and then it'll be applied in the next year, because we do autos in arrears. So it may be just that you didn't
Thank
get it
you.
on this year's bill, I'm not exactly sure if you just applied now, it may just kick in the next time around. But that would be something I would ask you.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. I came here with a 23-year-old car, and I assumed that I would be given a status of a classic car for the town of Fairfield, which is written basically on your printed paper. Okay, now, from what you're telling me that this has been, like, not a good idea, because I pay $94, and I think that's outrageous, number one, for the car that is 23 years old. And the Connecticut state statute basically states that a car over 20 years old that is registered is a classic. So I don't understand why I'm getting such a hard time. And I am, believe me. You guys are great people, I know that, but I think you're giving me kind of a hard time about a $10 fee for a car that I pay $94 on, which is not a lot of money.
This is Paula. I'm the first person to give somebody a break, and you're right, the car qualifies as classic based on the statute. However, it goes on to say, though, that to have it be recognized, you need a special numbered plate. It doesn't say a classic plate, it says a special number plate, which you don't have. So that's one way. Now, if I were you, I would call motor vehicle. You don't have to go there. Everything's mostly done by online now. I won't go to places either. Just, call them and find out what is this form you have to fill out, is something you need to do, and find out about the plates. Because this way it'll just be done, and that's the end of it.
I don't want a classic plate on the car.
I didn't say classic. Call them and ask them if it's a special, it says special number. It doesn't say classic. If it's gonna be classic, then don't do it if you don't want to.
What does that have to do with taxes for the town of Fairfield?
Well, the taxes, the tax bill that you have now is set because it's based, I believe, on last year's tax bill.
Excuse me, this
Going
is
forward, you filled out the form, okay? And going forward, you have the option to have the reduction next year. But
the reduction should be for 2020, according to the paper that I signed, that you guys have.
does anyone agree with that?
It's written right there on that short form. if I didn't have the car registered at all, it's still, probably I would end up having to pay taxes to the town of Fairfield because I own a car.
No, you wouldn't. I got away with it for 2 years.
Oof,
I forgot to do it.
I don't know,
I
I've
never
never
got charged.
had that happen.
I'm telling the truth. I forgot all about it. 2 years later, I realized I never got back charged.
I think we will,
I'm sorry?
I think we'll have to take this into consideration and, deliberate, and you will receive a written notification of
Okay.
findings, within, how many days is it, Secretary?
7.
Within 7 days, you will get written.
Okay. Do you need my application, obviously, for my address?
I will take the application as well and
I think
this information together.
yes, there it is, down there.
We have it, and this is Kathleen, are those the photos that you submitted to the
There's more
assessor?
photos.
Yes.
Oh, we have more photos.
The car is in excellent condition.
Okay, the engine and everything.
The engine is there, that is the original engine.
Yeah, the 4 photos they requested.
The car is in excellent condition. My father kept it beautifully, and I keep it very well.
And I ask you, if you get it,
No, they told me to come today.
sorry.
The assessor's office told me to only come today, so I
I'm
have.
sorry, the assessor isn't here, and we lack the information to
Okay,
tell you differently of this.
that's fine. It's just, I really would like a copy of that form that I filled out because that is important to me, if possible.
You don't have a copy?
No, I never made it.
No? You made us copies, I'll go make it.
No, thank you.
That's only fair.
Thank you.
We can help. We can help her. You know, she just told us
All right,
that she's taking care of it, it's already done, she's preserving it.
Right, good.
Thank you.
Okay.
sign in.
Thank you very much.
Right? I'll make a.
Thank you, guys.
I'll back it.
Okay. She sent someone she did, clean, she barely drawn it,
Yep.
preserve it.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
Is an appeal affidavit required to, or can anyone just come in and present?
Yeah,
I believe you
come in
can
and
just
present.
come in and present. We don't need.
No.
Very good. Okay. The next person would be, Anthony Fiore.
Good evening.
Apologize for this. Yes, sir.
Did somebody close the door? I'm hearing some background noise. I know it's probably, we need air in here, but I want to be able to hear it also.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good enough.
And if you could put the year, make, and model of the car.
Okay, we ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Or wait?
You're Anthony Fiore.
Yes.
Tell us about your vehicle appeal.
I'm appealing the value placed on my 2016 Audi. Number one, my first question is how did the town of Fairfield come up with the valuation on the automobile? And over the past 3 years, the value from my tax records, the value of that car has increased. I've never had a car increase in value. A car, as it gets older, depreciates. So maybe you can share with me how the value was determined on the car.
The value of vehicles is determined by typically the listing in the NADA books, which is the standard for determining the value of vehicles based upon make, model, and age. And then we also take into consideration condition factors that might be presented to us.
So that's something that I'm going to present to you.
How could you take it?
Okay?
And the value that you use in that in that book, is that a retail value? Is that a wholesale value? What is the value?
There's a range of values that are presented. I'll share this with you, you can see.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to see that. Yeah, I can see it.
But
Okay.
these are the
All right.
different,
Anthony, what model Audi do you have? It's a 2016, what model?
16 S6.
Ah, okay.
So what I'd like to state is it has to reflect the condition of the car. I have Carfax reports. The car has been involved in 3 significant accidents, ranging from, I think the lowest one was somebody rear-ended me, the bumper skin had to be replaced. That was about $1,600 to $2,000, and I have all the receipts, which are more than welcome to copy. Another accident, I was sideswiped. That was a little over $3,000 in damage on the car. I filed a diminished value claim against the other motorist insurance company, and I was awarded $3,000+ on diminished value of the vehicle. The last accident was someone cut me off. The total damages cost was somewhere around $12,000. So there's been significant, devaluation, and I have the Carfax report.
Can you submit that Carfax report for us?
I certainly will.
And how many miles do you have on that car?
Currently 78,000.
78,000?
Here's the Carfax report, and it shows all 3 accidents. And also, this is a Carfax valuation. And this was done at 75,000 miles, it now has 78,000 miles. Who wants to get?
That's an
Yeah, I'll take that and I'll pass it.
Certainly make copies,
Thank you,
and if you need
Oh,
copies
wait,
of
who wants to
the
make
actual,
copies?
repair bills, I have that as well.
Thank you very much, Anthony.
So, I think that the automobile value needs to be reflected on the damages that car has incurred since I've owned it. And it's not. There's no way of anybody knowing that other than me coming here and explaining that to you people. Yes?
For Harold, I have a couple of questions. First of all, usually we do the mileage from October 1, 2020. So if you were to, was it about 75,000 last October?
They had it at, 75, last year, October 2020?
Yeah, October 1, 2020, we go.
I'm gonna say that it was probably a little less than that, maybe 73,000.
So, okay, so you had.
I don't know exactly, but.
Okay, and then my second question is, what value do you think it would have been worth last October 1, 2020? What do you, in other words, what
I think based on all the accidents that the car had, and the fact that there's also 4 wheels that need to be refinished, estimate on 4 wheels refinishing is $250 a wheel, that's another $1,000. And your question again is?
Sure, what are you asking? In other words.
I'm thinking that the car should be valued somewhere between $23,000 and $24,000, and you can see that Carfax report.
Right.
And I think that that's extremely accurate. I understand that the value, and value is a relative term, value of used cars today has gone up due to COVID-19. Due to the fact that there's very little new car inventory, the computer chips and all of that stuff. However, value should also be, how can I sell that automobile? I'm not, due to COVID-19, going to advertise it, have people come to my home, drive the car, you're going to trade it in. It's a trade-in value. That's how that car should be valued. It shouldn't be valued because you say, a new car dealer puts it on his used car lot, can sell it for a lot more money than I can trade it in for. And that's a known fact.
Anthony, have you gotten any quotes from dealers on trade-in value?
I have the Carfax report. No, I'm not intending to trade the car in, so no, I do not. But I have the Carfax value on it. and it should be reflective of, you know, $20,000 in repair bills. And you know that when you have a Carfax report, the value of the car goes down, period.
I'm sorry, I missed the very beginning. What is your car being assessed at right now?
$29,800 and some odd dollars.
So almost
I can give you-
30,000 and you're trying.
Yeah, it's almost 30,000, and I think that realistically it should be what the Carfax says, 23 something.
And that's what the Carfax says.
23,270. I'm not taking into consideration the $1,000 that I would have to refinish the wheels at. So I even think 23,270 is too high.
Yeah, but the 29,000 is the assessed value on your tax bill, not the appraised value, right? The assessed is 70% of the appraised value. So do you have a copy of your tax bill there?
That's what
I do.
What is
Okay,
it?
and it says.
It doesn't say that, it just says value.
Okay.
So I don't know where it,
Probably the assessed value.
No.
I don't know.
We should look at it.
Yeah.
do you want to see that?
Not a book, we take the.
I'd like to see it.
It says value, doesn't
Take a look.
anything other than value.
But make sure we're.
And that's not
saying
70%, believe me. If somebody wants to pay me $35,000 for the car, I'll sell it right now.
Yeah, and then we use the NADA book, this is Kathleen, we use
Value
the NADA book, that's
29.
what the state uses, so all the towns use that book. And then we adjust up and down based on the book,
Right.
pilot
Value
conditions, so that
I think that the crux of my grievance
is your condition of your
is,
car.
is the fact that it's got 3 Carfax reports, major, you know, major damage was done to the car. Not by me, but someone cutting me off, someone sideswiping me, and someone hitting my rear bumper. You know, and, that's the crux of the appeal.
So you would say 23 to 24,000 appraised.
I would say 23,000. You know, and I'm being, I think, very lenient on that number. Pardon?
And again, we do it October 1, 2020, based on the mileage, so that would be 23,000 last October.
So if that's it.
Yeah. You know, that's when the accidents all occurred prior to that. So, you know, Carfax reports are,
Right, yeah.
you know, indicate that, I'm sure.
Times 70.
I need to get that tax bill back, because I gotta pay it.
Yes,
You want a copy of this?
can we make a copy of that?
Times
You can make a copy, yeah, but give it back to me.
20,000.
It took me 5 months to order this.
98.
I got it in August
Come up with
2000.
Because,
1 month later, I'm on Route 7. Someone crosses the line, the W yellow line, decides
we did,
you know, that person was given a summons, plus I got diminished value.
What's
You
the
know,
29?
repair bill was 3,000 something, I got $3,200 per insurance.
26.98.
Well, I said to the police, I said, you know, could you check her phone? He says, did you see her on her phone? I said, no, I didn't see her. I'm being honest. He says, well, I can't do that. I'd be violating her privacy. Really, you could kill me. One foot warrant, I will.
You're seeking a reduction from.
Okay, here, here.
23,270.
that is the,
If you want to use that number based on the Carfax, you know, the only thing that I would add on that is $1,000 of
That's an
the
assessed
wheel.
value, the 29.
the 29 is the set, that's the 70%, so they're appraised,
You can use that number,
Okay.
they're appraised at 41.
and I think that's a fair assessment.
Add to the value.
What is it, A6? Is it an A6?
An A6. No, it's an S6.
Was it an A6 for an S package?
Yes.
That we have.
That's, yeah, it's an S6.
I know.
Okay, generally, you follow me so that
Okay. Go ahead.
That's his assessment.
Yep.
That means the town, is praising him at 41.
Okay.
Alright?
Yep.
He is paying 1,100.
Yeah.
Mr. Fiore?
Yes. Thank you.
Give you your tax bill back and anything else you want. You presented good information. We will deliberate and
Okay,
you will receive notification of our decision
great.
within 7 days. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry we're
Thank you.
not as efficient as we.
No, I think you're doing great. Have a good night.
Thank you for hanging in there.
Sure.
We will get to everybody.
There were, but.
Name, address.
Done line by line.
Yes, this is Taylor Petrocelli, 309 Fairview Avenue in Fairfield. And your vehicle is a 2007
Scion TC.
Scion, TC.
Was.
What is that? Can you repeat that?
My vehicle was a 2007 Scion TC.
And you sold the vehicle?
Yes, the purpose of my appeals is just to make sure I cancel my registration, so I sold the vehicle
Let
on.
me just swear you in, I'm sorry.
Sure.
I thought we didn't have to.
Do you solemnly swear that the information you shall give concerning the assessment of the amount of taxes shall be true, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, as you got?
I do.
Thank you.
What? I'm embarrassed.
Okay, so the purpose of my appeal is just to prove that I sold my car, and so that I stopped receiving a tax bill and potentially receive a prorated tax bill for the year of 2020. So I sold at a private sale my 2007 Scion TC on December 31st, 2020. I have the bill of sale here, as well as the transferred title. I also subsequently that same day canceled my registration with the DMV online. I have a proof of that cancellation. The online assessment office for Fairfield said that the DMV does not notify Fairfield that you've sold your vehicle, so I'm here to say that I sold it, and so I no longer get billed for it in the future beyond the date of December 31st, 2020, as well as a prorated bill for my most recent tax bill, which I paid, $62.32, whatever that may be.
And so you have a document that says that you were truly placed?
That's the cancellation of the registration and plate.
And this was
No, he just wants to make sure that it's still beyond
is
the
it
date
the
that it's
plate
sold.
number that's
So
on
he's gonna
the,
get billed.
Okay, all right.
on the tax bill?
This is the previous tax bill.
Oh.
It's very hard not having all the, I like it better when
I
I'm on the
know.
computer.
I have the invoice number that's helpful for the tax bill. I don't actually have the
But
bill with me,
this
but.
definitely
He actually has to bring that to tax.
It happens to all of us, so.
We'll have to
So am I
get
correct to say that they'll
that
keep
different.
billing me?
Show them the truth.
No, it'll eventually go up, but it was what was on the books by October first.
If I'm here for 1 year,
We've gotta get the whole thing going, yep.
sorry, wasted too much time. It's the left side.
What is it we have?
I have the bill of sale, that's there.
Yeah.
I think that's all you need. I think you just need the cancellation bill of sale.
All right.
I have this one too.
Can I ask someone-
Same.
What do you need?
Copies of it?
Yep. 2 more copies.
And then, thank you, Taylor. As I said before, we will take this into consideration, pretty straightforward,
Okay,
and, we'll receive written notification
excellent. 7 days
within 7 days.
and mailed to me, right? Written.
It'll be mailed to your address.
All right, thank you.
We'll get your originals, you're gonna make copies.
Yeah, they're all copies anyway, so thank you.
Charles? All set, thank you, Taylor. You are Gerald Sargent,
Yes,
1484 Fairfield Beach Road.
yes,
I can just swear you in, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the information you shall give concerning the assessment of PO now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, help you God?
I do, yes, whatever.
Okay, thank you. So tell us about your automobile appeal.
Okay, the 2018 Toyota Tacoma, the
Tacoma?
Tacoma,
Tacoma,
Tacoma.
got it.
Toyota Tacoma, 2018 Tacoma.
The, net assessment for, as of October 1, 20,
25180. The year prior, October of 2019, it was 21420. On 9/24/20, just prior to the closing for the assessment value, a serious accident, a deer did a job on the front end of the car on Beach Road, incurring damage of $7,657.54. The mileage at that time was 10,454 miles. That's 9/24/20. On the value of the car, after I got the newest bill, I ran it out on 6/28/21. It showed the clean retail value for the 2018 Toyota Tacoma, with all the extras, to be $31,344. At 70%, that would bring it down to 21,940 as a proper net assessment by my arithmetic. So I'm puzzled why, since the net assessment should be 21,940 at 70%, why the town bill is for 25,180. I realize that you did not know, or the town does not know, that I had a serious front-end collision of incurring the almost $8,000. So here I'm here to say I believe the assessment is excessive.
Do you have a copy of your tax bill?
Yes, I do. 20 and also the 19 file.
So it says that the value of your vehicle is 25,180. That is not the, that's the appraised value that the town has for your vehicle.
Assessed,
Assessed, I meant.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's 70%, I believe, of the clean.
Yes, it's fine, but what did you think it should be? Or you just want it back to the
Well,
20?
I said that the 2019 was 21,000 plus.
Right.
The 2020 was 25,000 plus. You didn't realize I had a serious collision.
Right.
The,
Is it the 21,940 you're
Yeah, what are
requesting?
you asking?
what I had was on the, after I got the bill, I ran out the computer and said that says that the value as of 6/28/21, so 9 months after the October 120, it showed then the value of the total should be gross clean retail, 31,344. But it should be taxed at 70%, so I took 70% of that number, brings it down to 21,940, which is approximately what it was in 2019. With or without the accident, that should be the value, I believe. I understand that used car values have gone up, so but that should be offset by the collision damage of the 8,000, copy of which is here if you want it. So I'm happy with it. I'm not happy. I would be happier with the 2019 net value of 21,900.
That's what you're asking.
That's the accident report. This is the value of the car as of 9/21, 9 months after the closing of the tax year. I don't know if you want that or not.
I don't need to
Okay.
prepare that.
Kathleen, I'm sorry, it's hard to hear. Is that the NADA number that you're showing, the value?
21,940.
Yeah, that's in the NADA book, or is that showing I couldn't hear where you got the 21 number.
I went online, I think it says Edmonds on,
Edmonds, yeah.
I think the Edmonds, yeah, it's on the top of that, you have there.
Yes, 29,671, or the clean value, 31,344.
But that's Edmund. Okay, I didn't know if it was. Yeah, I know you and I think.
That's why I was, possibly, but we do, yeah. No, I think we often vote.
You need this back?
No, here's you.
Thank you.
Okay, so you feel, Sergeant, that the true value of your vehicle today is $21,940?
For tax purposes,
Yes.
yes.
Understood.
I think the rise in used car prices should be offset by the reduction of the value because of the serious car, accidents.
Yes.
And, no, I'm saying, I don't know how to value that, however you value it. If you think the value of the accident reduces the car value, fine, I'm happy with that. But
I understand.
that's up to you.
All right, we will deliberate
I think this guy's
as a group and make a determination, and you'll be notified within 7 days.
Okay, fine, thank you.
How many miles on the car again?
At the time of the accident was, 10,454. Current mileage is 12,400 and something, 470.
Yeah, we want the.
I think it's on that report.
Yeah, like whatever it was on October 1 last year.
The October 1, 20, I don't have October 1, I have it as of November 12th, because it was in the garage from 9/24. At that time, they recorded 10,454.
Okay,
Okay,
so after the accident, okay. Thank you.
thanks, Joe.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any questions? Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good evening.
Maureen Kane, address is 561 Old Mill Road, Fairfield, and you have a 1996 Honda Civic.
Yeah. We're gonna go back to that first
What
discussion.
was it, Carol?
A 1996 Honda Civic.
Honda Civic. Okay.
So I'm looking for it's getting, the value on the bill is about $1,660. And it roughly stays about that. It's been about that for the last couple of years. And
I'm hearing a lot of mumbles, Maureen.
oh, I'll just try to talk louder? Okay.
Yes, please.
Will do.
May I look at
You can make a copy of that, but I need that back.
Yes.
I was of the understanding, I wanted to get it adjusted to the 500 limit for a 25-year-old car.
Okay.
When I called DMV, they said there were the two ways to do it. One was to get the plates. I'm pretty partial to the plates that are on that car right now. The other way was to come down to your assessor's office. So I came into the assessor's office. I filled out the paperwork. I submitted it this morning. So I don't have a copy with me. She said I didn't need it here. But I can get it. I have the pictures. The car's outside. I garage it in the winter. To me, it's a classic car because I can put my key in it and turn it, and so to me, it meets the definition of a classic car, and it's 25 years old. So I just don't think it should be getting hit with higher taxes year after year.
The vehicle's outside.
Yep. I have pictures on my phone if you don't want to go down there, but
Would someone like to go and view the vehicle with Maureen?
Can I just ask you a question about when you filled out the paperwork to go into the assessor's office here?
yes.
Did they say that these plates were required?
No, they did not.
They did not. No,
And
that
neither
was not
did-
part of it, because I keep going back, I'm trying to figure out the statutes, and I'm not a lawyer, so that's what I was like, but they said, no, that's not the requirement.
No, and the paperwork was submitted this morning for the coming year 2021, and the reason for being here tonight was to affect your 2020.
Gotcha.
So that's why she said I didn't need it here tonight, but, I certainly can.
And is that something you just found out you could do? Is that why I like?
Yes, because I looked at my taxes, and I thought I got a 25-year-old car, I'm still paying taxes,
So you gave them a call, and they said, come
And
down and make an affidavit. And what is the affidavit, what does it say on the affidavit? Like, that you registered it at 23 years old? What are the information
from where?
from what you had to fill out at the assessor's office today?
It's that first woman handed you,
Oh, okay.
that first piece of paper with essentially what's on your tax bill, and then you add the pictures to the back.
Oh, okay.
It requested-
Affidavit this is what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's 3 pages, that's the first page, the third page is the style of the picture to take, and the second page is the explanation, which I think she handed you also.
Right. No, okay. I've been trying to figure out so thanks for that.
Yeah, and that's actually updated,
What was answered.
because when I first went online, it was still dated for 2019, so it's actually been updated since I've been trying to figure this out.
And the town did not say, because there's an exception here that I'm getting hung up on, but they did not say that you needed a plate.
Correct. They said you could do it by coming into the assessor's office and getting the, adjustment approved here.
That's what I wanted, because I'm having a hard time in the statute, in the language of the statute, so.
And that's what DMV, the person at DMV said also, is to go to your own town and request it from them. So they were not requiring it, that it be a special number plate or a classic. However, if you got the classic, it would probably be easier.
Well, it's something. Yeah, but I'm not sure your Honda Civic's a classic, but I get it. So I get where you're going.
In my mind.
Does anybody, it is a classic, absolutely.
I'm never gonna own a BMW.
But, you know.
What was the amount of the tax that you've been?
The tax, I didn't tell you that, it's assessed at $1,660, and the tax, the money is, like $45, $44.79.
But she's going to be, she wants the assessment to
It'd
be no.
be a max of a 500.
She wants like a retro.
She wants, it to be
Retroactive.
reassessed at 500.
Right.
Not reappraised at 500, reassessed, and that's what the affidavit is.
Right.
So,
And this is Kathleen, how many miles did you say was on it?
I didn't. It's got 149.9
140.
and change.
As of October first?
Probably would have been about, 150 to on your left, because it's garaged in the winter. Doesn't have good
Like
snow
100.
tires.
So as of October 1, 2020, how many miles do you think you're got?
Probably still 144.9 and change.
144? Okay.
Not even that many, but if you need specifics, I could probably go look it up, because it'll be on the oil change form.
right, yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
any other questions?
Did you need me to follow with paperwork or pictures or anything?
I mean, it's not in bad shape, right? You're not saying you were in an accident,
Nope.
or had any, you know.
No, it's 25 years old and it's 25 years old. You know, it's like when you turn 50, you know?
Okay, that's no, if there's nothing unusual, there's no sometimes if there's damage, people want to show us the damage, but you're not arguing about damage, you just.
No, it's just because it's, according to the state, it should be a classic car and have a maximum assessment or maximum
Yes.
tax value of 500.
Okay.
Maureen, we will notify you within 7 days.
I have
Okay.
just one question.
Oh, is there a question?
Did you file like the affidavit, form with like the 4 pictures?
Yes.
Okay,
If you want to see the picture, I have them on my phone.
very nice.
Yeah, yeah. The
Thank you.
pictures are on the back, and if, like I
She
said,
said
if
she
you want.
filed them this morning, so,
Oh, okay, I
Yeah.
made it too.
no, I mean, that's,
All right, mumbled.
Morning.
she's here to ask us to do that.
Got it. Thank you.
Right. Okay.
Thank you, Maureen.
Oh, good, thank you. Have a good night. Nice
You
to
too.
see you.
Thank you.
And I,
Pat,
That would be me, Gregory. I'm left-handed.
Gregory, yes.
I'm left-handed, that's what it
Me too.
is. The scratch marks
Irene,
for my name and address and everything else.
46
Moritz,
Place,
yes,
Fairfield.
that's correct. My argument is over the net assessment for the,
Let me swear you in.
oh, I'm sorry.
Do you solemnly swear that the information you shall give concerning the assessment of your now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
It's a 2006 Dodge Dakota, and I'm arguing about the net assessment of $57.80. It's got 194,000 miles on it. I have a auto repair bill for the exhaust from Summit Auto in Fairfield here for over $3,000 worth of work that needs to be done. And come, I believe it expires on St. Patty's Day. I'm not going to put $3,000 into a truck that has a leaf spring coming through the bottom of the bed and needs all this exhaust work from the engine all the way back. And I just think the $57.80 net and gross is just way too high for this vehicle. And by next year, I'm going to have to just sell it as junk. or sell it as parts. Because I'm not gonna put $2,000 into a car that, well, I got Edmunds or Kelly Blue Book or whoever it was. Rough condition that it's in.
Is the vehicle here?
It is outside.
Anyone want to, take a look at it?
I'll go,
You will, Judy?
I'll go look.
Thank you.
If you want, is he gonna walk out with me, or I'm gonna go, you tell me where it is?
I would, I've got a bad knee, so it's a silver pickup truck at the stop sign in front.
All right, I'm gonna go look at
It won't bite. It's got,
it.
it will.
How qualified I am. I was gonna say.
If you look in the back, driver's side corner, you'll see the leaf spring coming through the back, underneath the bed.
Judy's a gearhead.
Yeah, it's got scratch marks down the side. It was vandalized at one time.
All right.
With you, Judy.
I'll find it.
I know, with you. I'll come with you.
If they look shocked when they come back in, don't, you know.
Is she communicating with the public?
She must be, the public can't ask.
Can you give her that, tell her to share that number
Okay?
with, people? It's 120.
Kathleen, just have a question. So you have some repair work you need to do on it now, right? Was that,
It needs so much repair work, I'm not even gonna pay for it. I'm not even gonna bother.
right, but
So-
it still runs, right?
Oh, yeah, it still runs and everything. It's got about almost 195,000 on it, above 194, so in between 194, 195.
So again, we look at October 2020. So was it in bad shape back then?
Yeah.
And, okay.
Yeah, the exhaust was, you know, I've been nursing it and the light's been on for at least a year or better. And, once the plates expire, that's it. I'm not gonna put the money into it. It's just not worth it.
What do you think the mileage was last October, 2020? Did you put 20,000 on your car a year or 10?
Not even. I bought a newer vehicle and I've been driving that, just using this to run to the dump.
Okay.
So I bought the other truck in, actually it was October of last year. So I might have put 300 or 400 miles on it in the past.
So about 194.
Yeah, I would say 194 would be about right.
No, I'm sorry, what year is the car?
2006, I bought it St. Patrick's Day, 2007 from Scap Motors.
I remembered the St. Patrick's Day comment, you lost me after that. Okay.
And, the Kelly Blue Book or whoever it was, I looked it up, said in rough condition, it's worth $18.59,
And what is the town assessing it at?
$57.80.
And you're looking, 1859?
That's in rough condition. Even in outstanding condition
Yes.
was $3,200 as compared to $57.80. There's, you know, it's even if it was in perfect condition, it's less than what the town is assessing it at.
And that's the assessment is $57.80.
$57.80 is the assessment, yes.
So the appraised is,
So the appraised is, did you do it?
no, I don't have.
Okay, I'm doing it.
Where's Ernie? Oh,
I know.
all right.
The, is 8257.
Okay. So what are you requesting the value?
What year is this car?
I would go with average at 2,400, 24.
You're asking, okay, to have it appraised at 2,400.
Right, I mean, that's average, even though I know it's in rough condition. I'd ask for, you know, 1859, but, you know, I'd be happy with, any reduction whatsoever.
I have a question, just because I'm curious, it's Paulette. If it's worth $18.59 in rough condition, and that,
Right.
they come back, yeah, it's in rough condition, why would you accept $2,400?
Because anything's better than nothing.
Well,
I'll take anything I can,
okay.
I'll take anything I can get. I apologize. Sorry. She's not gonna be happy when I get home. Knows I'm here.
She didn't think it would take this long.
Let's see what they say.
Where are you?
What do you think?
You know, there's too much humor,
Go with the $18.50.
We'll go with the 1859.
everywhere. I mean, you know, with the undercarriage, it's definitely got issues, and I mean, I could see this, I could see one bump, or one false move, he's gonna lose part of his undercarriage.
How much,
Yes.
would you charge to repair it?
She wouldn't repair it.
More than it was,
The guys at Summit are really good,
I'm in the middle of a
that's what I
meeting.
could say.
Okay.
Mr. Gregory?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you provided good information. Are there any documents that you want us to make copies of?
I If you would like, I have the, Summit bill that says it's at least $3,000 worth of, repairs.
We believe you.
Do you have the, Kelly Blue Book or?
I wrote it down, I got,
That's fine, because we have many years.
yeah, I mean, you know,
What were you looking for a new value?
He said,
I was saying, in rough condition, 1859 is what I had from Kelly Blue Book.
Consider that rough condition?
I think it's probably a little bit more than rough.
Okay.
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 Thank you.
Very good.
You can't, register it again, right? You said the registration's running out.
Yeah, because of the
emissions.
emissions, yes. So I'm gonna be, running it, I just use it to run to the dump every other Saturday. And then, come next year, I'm gotta get rid of it, parts or whatever. So if you know anybody, no? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Have a good
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll let you know in 7 days.
Thank you.
All right.
I heard it 5 other times.
Okay. Hi,
Hi, how are you?
you are?
Juan Velez.
Your name, one more time, I'm sorry.
Yes.
My name is Juan Velez.
Thank you.
I live on
Your address is-
798,
Oh, sorry. What is it?
798 Sturgis Road.
Sturgis.
Yes.
Okay.
Kinda jealous right now because it's a bunch of proud owners that I wish I can say the same thing about my car. So anyway, I have a 2006 Chevy Silverado. It's a 3500 dually. The town assessed that car for $12,970, and the car is in a rough condition. Like every Silverado, the body is rotting apart. And on top of that, this car, as of today, has 332,000 miles. To be more exactly, it's 332,078 miles.
What do you think it had in October 1?
I applaud, that
Why?
Taking good care of that guy, yeah.
So, if it's anybody interested in giving me $12,000 for this car, I'm more than happy to take it from you guys.
What was the mile, this is Kathleen, what was it, 300,000?
332,078. When I went to the tax assessor, they told me to come here to the meeting. I told them I just need to come here and talk to you guys. I had some pictures on my phone, and I have a video of the car on my phone. That way you can verify the mileage that I'm telling you and the condition of the car.
All right.
So if any one of you guys want to see this video, I can show it to you right now.
Can you, share which Silverado, is there there's a couple of different sizes of the Silverado, so which size is?
This is a 3500 crew car, dually.
The 7500?
3500.
3500. Okay.
So, as you guys know, Silverado, the motor is really good. As you can see, 332,000 miles is a lot of mileage for a car. But the body is in a really bad condition. The body is rolling apart already. The rockers are missing already. And I know nobody's going to give me $12,970 for this car. So I was doing research on the KVV value as a private party sale or something like that. And the number that came out in excellent condition is somewhere around $6,934. And in a rough condition, which is mine, is somewhere around, who knows? I don't think anybody will buy it, but they say $4,649. So I will be more than happy if you guys can help me to reduce this value a little bit because, $13,000 for that car is crazy.
So, yeah, and so what are you asking for? Are you asking for 4,600 appraised value?
I'm asking for a fair appraise of the car, whatever you guys gave me, that would be nice. It's the only thing I'm asking. $12,000, $970 is crazy if I had to pay taxes for that kind of money.
Yeah, plus you have a lot of miles on it.
That's
So
correct.
That definitely is part of it, okay.
All right? So if you guys want to see the video, I have a video with me. My phone is about to die, so take a chance.
The number?
Yes.
Give us the number.
Whenever you can, he said the work was 46 appraised, not assessed, so take
Right.
70% of that for assessed.
So, for example, this is a picture of my
You
mileage
would
right
pay
now.
taxes on the 70% of that.
You can see exactly how much it is. 300.
but there's.
3220.
That would be the assessment.
Yeah.
And then, another condition of the body, okay, is rolling all over the place, all over the place. You see the rockers are missing already. No, they disappear already.
They don't have that in the office, so they.
So,
Really?
it is, okay. Yeah, even the fenders are starting to running already. And then the rockers right there are missing. So the rock, it's on a really rough condition of the body.
Condition is a lot of money.
But the motor is amazing, so I'm gonna keep using it until the motor dies.
This is the extended cab.
That's the big one. Thank you, Juan.
Thank you so
Very
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So when I gonna hear from you guys? 7 days? Have a good evening, okay?
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, wait a minute.
What is that book, sir?
I'm not sure I'm reading the right
Okay,
line.
I think we just,
That book's a pain in the neck.
I just like to be consistent, so, I mean, I,
This is a 2006 Silverado,
nice, to-
Right.
in my notes, when they come back.
extended cab.
Book is very hard to use.
Right,
I tried to
so
use
I was trying to look it up. Yeah, it
I
is.
thought we had a link on the webpage.
So
I-
the 3500.
So, for me, I usually.
So I was trying to do
Google,
it.
like,
Well, no, it's a good idea. Go, okay. What is that BMW though?
yeah, but that's, so,
Can I
now, are
take a
we
look
gonna
at this without your
debate these?
Yeah.
I think so, good.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I looked at it.
Let's do,
It should be fairly easy, most of them. I mean, those two guys with the rough condition, I mean, I can't see arguing over that. It's just the
you
way
come
it is.
down here, you just.
Did he give us a number of what
Oh,
he?
here's the
He was asking for 4,600 appraised.
Appraised, it comes out to 3220 assessed.
That seems to be
Okay,
what the
so
book is
here's
saying.
what I'm seeing, it's right here,
In that
so,
range.
there's a 3500 pickup, did you see that?
Yeah, extended cab.
Yeah, extended cab, we have LS or LT,
Is there much of a difference?
about 500, $450 difference. Yep, so, I don't know what you wanna do with that.
What number do you have in the book?
Alright, so, you want the trade-in, the average trade-in? Which number do you want?
Which number do we use, do you remember?
I thought you used retail, unfortunately, I
In the
think,
book, I think the state uses retail, right? It
I think
uses-
they do.
it is
I'm pretty
consistent.
sure they use
Yeah.
He
retail.
said it was a 76. What year?
2006.
2006.
2006.
Right.
15 years old.
There's the trade-in, the average trade-in, and the rough trade-in. That's what I have here.
What do you got for the rough?
And then we have, the rough trade-in was $48.50.
And then there's a mileage adjustment somewhere, you take
Yeah.
off so much, right?
Yeah, who wants to look at it, because I got my eyes,
I can't see that far.
well, I could a little bit, but you know, don't you have the bigger book? Is the same thing in the bigger book or no?
No,
I just look at the range.
I don't see where,
I'm looking
We
at,
use
the book
retail,
says,
but
what,
the town
the book says
uses
47,
retail,
48.
right?
I think
It's
I, because I have, rough
Well, that's
about
the
this, because I wanted to.
Because that might be, that's
got-
40-something
I
without
put
the
it
adjustment
there,
for mileage.
I had to change my car back.
Yeah.
The bill came today,
Yeah, and you got, it's got,
you don't wanna
it's got way too
know.
much mileage, you know.
You don't wanna know, these people,
Well, it's like when I'm in
Retail.
hundred.
I think it's retail, I think that's what,
I kinda remember it being.
I can go ask.
is 9175, including retail.
Yeah, but it's not, yeah.
Well, because if the town
So,
has them at
I still have
12.9,
the two.
Yeah,
that are
those
doing
are
the
the
town
difficult ones.
Well,
this retail is, right,
I think
it's higher than that, like, right? Didn't he say his bill was 12,970, that's the town assessment? So whatever the town appraised is,
It's
that number should be somewhere.
$18,000.
in the bill before.
Well,
If he's
I'm looking at, 9175. So
Wait,
that would
That
be,
doesn't make sense.
that would be 70% of the 12,000 something.
So I just did it on my NADA guide with the miles, Crew Cab LS, four-wheel drive, 2006 Silverado, with the miles of being 322,778. So rough trade-in, 65.75, average, 78.75, clean trade-in, 89.50, clean retail, 11,900.
No, not gonna happen.
So it's around.
So we go with the rough.
Well, I'm trading. So that's where they're coming up with these ones. I don't know.
I'd say take the
Where
rough
did
trade-in.
they get the 12?
It's 70% of the rough trade-in. Count, and he's got that with that much mileage, so you don't have to make another adjustment for mileage.
Right, that's what I don't know.
Right.
Why is the town having that 16, or whatever it is?
Obviously, the miles.
18.5.
18.5?
18.5.
12.9 goes to 18.5?
Correct.
How could it be?
Didn't he say that?
The tax bill is, are you saying that that's assessed or appraised?
I thought he said his tax bill said 12,970.
That was a test.
Assessed, right.
All the
That's
tax
what it-
bills are assessed value?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you gotta, divide by 0.7 to come up with appraised.
Which is 18,528.
18,528, so that's what you'd expect to find in the book somewhere for that
No.
vehicle.
No, the highest I see is 11,500.
I know.
Yeah.
So I
what I'm
wonder if
saying.
they have the wrong vehicle, or we're looking at the,
Or maybe he meant to say.
Well, he says 2006
I don't think the tax
Silverado.
bills show their appraised value anywhere. I think that's what we're trying to figure out. I think the tax bill just shows your stuff.
I think so too, Kathy.
That's what it looks like.
Tax bill here, I can look at my own, I can look at my own car.
So what number do we shoot him at?
What are you talking about, a 4,600
He said-
appraised value?
He said he got that from, one of the books, Kelly's,
Yeah, KBB.
KBB, 4,600. And that came out to, that's the full,
32.70.
30, that's nice, 3220.
Like more about what
Now I
you
get it.
need for that.
3220.
Freddie, can you look up like for?
So what's wrong with
I
3220?
just wanna confirm.
That's 70%.
332,000 miles on that.
I know.
That should be a lot easier.
You know, this is what the assessor doesn't ever take in, because we don't know. He's gonna
There's no way
figure
to
out,
know.
right, unless somebody says.
That's
I had a
just
copy of
huge.
this.
We can see.
We can deliberate the right car. That, I mean, that's where Ken's
Practice.
going, like, well, how could it be so much, that we really discussed the right car?
Appraised with real estate, that's what.
So,
Are we deliberating on this,
yeah,
or are
you
we
did some
starting?
research and you found a number for this vehicle of the
Yeah, so for the Silverado, 2006
appraised
Silverado,
value.
3,500, so I mean, I showed a clean retail of 11,850.
Oh, this is not clean.
No,
Right.
what's the rough trade-in?
So rough trade-in, 66.25.
6625. And
What
if you
about
take-
What about mileage?
332,000 miles.
That's including the 322, I'm sorry, I put in for the miles, I have it right here. I put in 322,778 miles.
And so that does what to the 6625?
That's what it is with the miles.
That's factored in.
6,700? What was the amount?
There is no way that car's worth $6,700.
So if you take 6625 and take 70% of that,
I'm supposed to be looking at retail,
What?
is
fair
that
market value.
rough retail? 6625?
Okay. Mm-hmm, gotcha.
I'll leave that.
Somebody want to come up with a number?
Well, are we deliberating?
Yeah, hey, are we deliberating yet?
Well, before I do, I wanna look at, to compare the other cars to see if we're using the same evaluation. So I'm looking at the 96 Honda Civic.
Well, the Honda Civic, we have two that are going for the 20-year plus.
Right. No, I know.
Well,
I see
you're so
evaluation.
close on this, why don't we finish this one and then go back to the other one?
No, I'm not,
He was gonna go back, and I was like, we either have to,
I wanna see, I'm looking at the NADA evaluation on another vehicle to see if it's matching up. And then that's why I wanna compare the two, if it's the same evaluation.
It's the commercial, something else we do assess for. I'm trying to remember, we do assess for personal property. We do appraise, this is Kathleen, last year we did appraise for the motor vehicle. So we just have to convert the tax bill to appraised, because I was looking at the minutes. It's the personal properties that we do in assess, that's what we do.
Okay.
But the real estate and the motor vehicle we do in appraised, or you.
Why do we need to do that? I'm not following this. Why do we need to worry about what the appraised value is? We have the assessed value to come up with a value for him. Why do we need the appraised value?
This is Kathleen, because the book, if we're
The book
looking,
is
if we're
by
looking at the
appraised.
book is by appraised, so that's what the town bases it on, they take .7. So, I mean, we can make our decision on it using either number, but it's more, do we want to, see how much lower they're asking for in the book?
We can confirm using the outside source, which is appraised.
Because,
What are they using?
It's
Retail
just apples to apples
traded?
rather than apples to oranges, and makes it easier when we.
why, that book to me, it's overpriced, and I don't like it.
Okay.
It doesn't show you fair market value, it shows you what they think it should be.
Well, it's
They never match.
whether
That book is,
it's retail,
that book is way
traded,
higher than anybody else. They're higher than Kelly Blue Book, they're higher than Edmunds. That's what the town uses, we don't have to use it. If you found Edmunds and Kelly's to be more in line with what he's saying, I'd go with that.
I recall talking to Ross about this, and I think, and I agree with you, however, what I do recall from my conversation with Ross when I asked him about it months ago, is that the state in general uses it.
Yeah, the state does use that, I knew that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so, we follow along with the state, that's what we have to work with, unfortunately.
do we all agree that we have 7 appeals in front of us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would we like to approach them? There are partners in all of them. There are 2 that are going for the 20-year, I'd like some consistency, so I would like the debate, deliberate on those 2 together. The 2 old pickup trucks, let's find a consistent value for them and do it with at least the same methodology.
Okay.
And then we have 2 old, 15-year-old pickup trucks, we have 2 going for the 20-year, issue. We have someone who sold their car, and then we have 2, with accidents. So I would like to suggest, and I don't know how to go about, but, to move it forward, I would like to, suggest that we start negotiating and pair the ones that are the same.
I think we can, do the 2 trucks, Mr. Velez and Mr. Gregory,
Okay,
which are number 6 and 7, since they're
great.
a little fresh in our minds, and the others, and
Okay.
some of the others are pretty straightforward. So we need to, since Mr. Velez did not give us a value, I don't believe.
I think he gave us a value, I heard, so do we have to do anything for the note-taking, or are we going to hear it now? Is there any formality wording?
I would try to follow what we did last year rather than go for a motion to deny and have it, negative. So I think we should make a motion to grant what they requested. Hopefully, we come close to a number that they requested, and then we can decide to amend it like we did for the real estate, or, pass it as it is, and vote on it in an affirmative rather than having a negative motion.
And, I will bring to the table for discussion, deliberations, and voting, the appeal number 7, Mr. Velez, 2006 Silverado.
Oh, you need a motion?
Oh, I second that motion. This is Remy.
All right, and, need to come up with a value.
Didn't I hear him say, it's Judy Zablack, didn't I hear him say 4,600?
That's what he said.
Afraid.
I agree.
Yeah, this is.
That's appraised.
4,600 for appraised value, so let's take the 70% of that, and that would be the.
32.
But we can talk in appraised, we're good. We just
Okay.
need to talk in what his original appraised was, which is not the 12.9. You're thinking he was appraised at 18,528. Right, his current appraised value is probably 18,528, and he's asking to be reduced to 4,600 appraised?
Yeah,
So I
agree.
think that's the motion.
Okay.
So
Worst case,
I-
we can adjust the town appraised amount if we're wrong on that, but I think more important is what he wants to go to.
Then, this is Harold, I'll make a motion to grant the requested appraised value for the 2006 Silverado to $4,600, $4,600.
I'll second that.
Judy seconds. With a show of hands, all those in favor? It's unanimous.
Is Alexis still on?
Mr. Chairman, Alexis Harrison is on the line.
Yes. How do you vote?
I vote in favor.
It's unanimous. 9-0-0. Thank you, Alexis. Then if we want to go to appeal number 6, Mr. Gregory, who had the, what was his vehicle?
It was a Dodge
2006
Dakota.
Tacoma.
Tacoma, yeah.
Tacoma, 2006 Tacoma. And, I think he was looking at a number of 2,400.
And the town appraisal is,
Town has it 82.
8257.
Correct.
8257. He's asking for a reduction to 2,400.
This is Harold.
Actually, oh, sorry, Harold.
I make a motion to grant this appeal to the appraised value of $2,400.
Kathleen, I'll second it.
Kathleen seconds it. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Alexis, how do you vote?
I vote in favor.
The appeal is granted to reduce the amount to $2,400. It's unanimous.
No, it's not. I'm voting no.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It should be less.
Okay, I have 8 in favor, 1 no, and no abstentions.
And then, this is Kathleen, for the record, the no was Paulette, right? I don't know if she's.
Yes, that's Paulette, it was no.
For the record, I also feel it's too high.
It's too high, but
Yeah. What he asked for.
Okay,
those are the next two.
You want to do the next two with the retroactive or retro of the 500 classic car?
that would be appeal number 1 and appeal number 5?
Correct.
Correct.
All right, so why don't we, move up to appeal number 5, Mr. Kane?
Miss Kane, her name was
Miss Kane.
Maureen.
Sorry, yes.
Maureen.
Kane. I make a motion to grant the appeal to reassess the vehicle at $500.
This is Kathleen, do we have the amount that is currently appraised, who's ever got the calculator?
1660?
But I think that's.
Oh, that's the assessed, yeah.
I mean, average retail, we have it on NADA guide.
If you could actually just multiply it times 0.7, because I don't think she's arguing the condition, she just wants to get
2,371
2,371.
would be the town's, fair market value?
Okay, that's good.
I mean, over 20 years, but average retail on NADA, 24, 25, so we have it a little bit lower.
May I make a,
Yes.
kind of a comment, but it's also a question? So Ms. Kane has submitted the affidavit, for the antique or over 20-year-old car, which the statutes say it is an assessed dollars to reduce to no more than $500. So she is asking for the assessment of $500. We don't know if the assessor has approved that. I'm not as familiar with the intricacies, the real requirement to have those special plates or not. The assessor did not state that that was a requirement. So, I'm personally inclined to approve the retroactive for last year, based on the assessor's, decision rendered for the current affidavit submitted for this year. Is that a possibility, or how do
Well,
we?
this is Kathleen, the only thing I would say is that if we do it for her and anybody else who appeals, then we feel like you have to do it for everybody else if they're gonna come in and appeal last year. Because, I mean, the statute says there's two ways you can do it. You fill out the paperwork or you get the classic plate. And she didn't do either one of those things.
No, she did.
No, she
They
filled
both
out the
completed the
paperwork.
affidavit,
Right.
But she did it today.
They
but
did
we
it
don't know the decision of the assessor.
Right,
Correct.
so if she appealed next year, because your tax bills are in arrears, but this is the last, so this is for October 1, 2020, tax bill, pay tax for last year. So if he doesn't approve it this year, then she can come back next September.
During cheapest Fisher Day, get this month's exclusive offer.
We may have someone else on the line, I'm not sure. So, in other words, that's,
So explain that, because I don't know that I can interpret the
yeah, so it's my
statute.
understanding, you have to do two things to get the lower value, one of those two, right. I did not have to do the application, I have an old car, I got the plate. So you don't have to do both, you get the plate, or you can fill out the application, get approved by the assessor's office. But she only did it now, so she's not doing it for last year, it's for the October 1, 2021 tax bill that she will be, if this will be applied for her starting in October, which will affect this year.
That's the affidavit.
Because your tax bills are in arrears, right. So you get taxed for last year, your value from last year on October 1, 2020, but it's in this year's bill. It's very confusing, but basically.
No, I get that.
Yeah, so for her, she didn't fill out if she filled out the paperwork prior to October 1, 2020, then I would have expected to see the 500, or she would say that she had gotten denied. But she filled it out today, which will affect her on her next tax bill, but not this one.
And I guess my biggest question to me is, do we, and this is John, is it right to give them retroactive when they didn't fill out the forms and stuff like that? Or till today?
And my question is it right to give them retroactive when we don't even know if it's been approved?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is, I'm gonna go back to Kathleen, because she just did that today. I'd like to help her. I have an idea. But here's the thing, she came today, she filled out the application today. It can't be retroactive to October 1, 2020. It has to be for today moving forward. So unfortunately, we can't help her. That's not helping her case today with us. That'll help her next year when she gets taxed. Then it's gonna take care of her. But what we can do is look at what her appraisal is on the car from the town, and look at what she has talked to us about. She's got 144,000 miles. Let's take a look and see if there's anything that maybe we can do for her based upon that.
And not on the affidavit.
And not on the app, we can't,
like that, Judy.
unfortunately, we
No,
can't.
we can't do anything with that.
But I just wanted to,
That's fair.
Yeah,
That is
definitely.
a
I think
good-
that was the case she brought to us. She didn't say, I have a lot of miles, or it's in bad condition, and I think I should, get lower than anybody else who has the same car in the same condition and the same miles as me. That's kind of what she's, that would be the case that we would be supporting if we were to give her a reduction. Because anybody else who has that 1995 Honda is paying the same, right? Because that's what the book says.
Right.
So she's based on the book data.
We don't know about
But
that.
we don't know about the mileage though, so that's why we really need to look at it.
Yeah, her mileage was
144,900.
on a 20-year-old car, so that
What do you got there, Ronnie?
Yeah,
5,000
based
miles.
on, we're including the miles on there, we have average retail 24.25, which is in line with what we have. We actually have it a little bit lower.
Okay.
Okay, then we leave it alone.
Yeah, we'll leave it alone, and then, she gets, that's like the only way we can do, we have to go by the regulations.
Right.
So, I
And
want,
Judy, what you said is what I was trying to say, is, about the retroactive, you didn't fill out the paperwork, so. Is it really right to be able to go back?
no, it's
And
unfortunate,
do
we
it,
can't,
yeah.
because then we'd be doing that for everybody.
Exactly.
And, yeah, you can't do
I
it,
agree.
can't do it.
And would she then try to come back and reclaim taxes from prior years.
No, I
Well,
just,
you
you know what, yeah, you just open
You
everything
could,
up,
you
so we
could,
can't
yeah.
do it. That's all, we can't do it.
So-
I'd love to help her, but we can't do it. So I think we need a new, motion, or we.
No,
We have a motion.
I can make a motion to, reassess to $500 going forward.
Okay,
That's the motion on the table, that's.
That's right.
Seconded,
Was it
yeah.
seconded?
No.
I'll second
I
it.
think, oh, okay, somebody.
Okay, John is seconded.
John seconded.
Any further discussion? All those in favor to grant the requested amount to the appraised value of $500?
That's 500, whatever that would be,
That would be assessed values.
750?
That raised the assessed value.
700.
No more than,
Oh, in the paperwork it says 500. Okay, so,
no more
the
than.
appraised value of $700 is what we're saying, right?
Hmm?
They were
That
500,
clear?
Oh.
7 is, I don't think it's 700.
no, I think you should just call it the value of 500, because that's what's in our range.
She requested it at 500.
No
Yeah.
more than.
So the motion is to grant, this appeal to an assessed value of $500. Do I have a second?
I already seconded.
John seconded. Any further discussion? With a show of hands, all those in favor of granting this appeal to the assessed value of $500, please raise your hand.
Yeah.
Am I missing?
Alexis votes in
Yeah.
favor.
Yeah, because
All in
it's,
favor?
because she's filling out the form today, so it's going to get changed, but she's asking
I
for,
thought we said that it would be changed for the next term.
No, it
Well,
will,
we
the
can't
assessor's
do that.
office will do that for her.
right.
Oh.
We're
We
looking
can't
at,
do that.
we're looking in arrears.
We're
doing it
looking
for
at
her.
doing the 500 retro.
Oh, no, I'm not looking at doing it retro.
That's-
Yeah,
that's the
That's
motion
what
on
we're
the
doing,
table.
that's what the motion on the
Motion on
table.
the table is retro.
Yeah, so then we,
No.
Yeah, this is Kathleen, if Ross approves the form, she doesn't have to come here next year.
right.
She would only come if Ross denied her and she wanted to disagree with what Ross, you know, if he didn't.
So if we deny, it's whatever the assessor's office determines.
For last, yeah,
For last
going
year.
forward, yeah, or
Okay.
she can come back, but.
All right, then I will call the vote again. All those in favor of granting the requested assessed value of $500, raise your hand. All those opposed, raise your hand.
Alexis votes in favor.
Okay, we
With
have,
180, right?
we have.
Mr. Chairman, did you get my vote?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. One in favor, one opposed, no abstentions.
Okay, that was done.
Then, appeal number 1, Ms. Schaefer, similar situation, where it's a more than 20-year-old vehicle, and she's looking for antique value on the vehicle, but I think it falls into the same category as Ms. Kane.
This one is different.
Why is Schaefer different? The first one.
Schaefer is very different. If you listen to her, and not everybody listens to her, I don't mean to be disrespectful to anybody here. Here's what she said. She has taken that car and preserved it. She has kept it, and she kept it as meticulous as possible.
Low mileage.
Very low mileage. And what she even said, without realizing it, she's done her best to preserve that car, right? So, and remember, this was something from her father that it's now in her possession. She barely drives it, though she's had,
35,000 miles.
yeah, okay, from a 97. So what she said she preserved that car. She then falls into the antique rare special interest. Now, if you read that, under Public Act, under 8-150, read section number 3, and I'll read it for the record. Antique rare special interest motor vehicle means a motor vehicle 20 years or older, which is being preserved because of historic interest and which is not altered or modified, which she said was original condition from the original manufacturer's specifications. So it's not like she was talking to that specifically. She just happened to mention what she's doing with that car. And that is absolutely proper.
But she's maintaining the car.
Yes.
She's preserving it. She said she was preserving it, yes. Yeah, so, and the pictures, it looks in incredibly good condition, and it's preservation. So, as far as I'm concerned, that's worthy of the 500.
Well, so this is John, I agree with you, Judy, that it's well maintained, it's, being
Preserved is the word.
I believe what she does means that, however, with the statute, she hasn't filled out, she's not gonna go for the plate, okay, which is fine. But she's not filled out the form that, the other candidate has done.
I'm sorry, she
Yes,
has,
she did.
but it's the same as the other candidate.
She did fill it out?
She did.
It is filled out, she
July.
submitted it, but
Okay.
July 30th of this year. So
Okay.
again, depending when the assessor makes his decision, she's asking for this affidavit to be retroactively applied.
Yes,
So, she did fill out the affidavit.
okay.
So get it next time.
But it's not time. So let me ask about preserved. Preserved could mean this is something that's going into a museum or a showroom somewhere, and it's not going to be driven?
Not
What's the definition of
necessarily.
preserved?
You could do it.
Not necessarily, Carol.
Okay.
The fact that she has such low mileage on it, obviously she doesn't drive it around a lot.
Right.
She wouldn't take it out tonight because it was gonna rain. She's maintained, the outside is in beautiful condition. So I'd say she's trying to preserve it. I tried doing it with a car. I did exactly what she was doing.
Well,
Unfortunately, I blew the end.
It does say, the statute does say be preserved because of historical interest.
And guess what?
To me, that would be car shows or
Yeah, she can take that to a car show.
entering into a parade,
That's
using
right.
it. And we didn't hear any of that. It does not. But again, I think I'm going back to the date of the affidavit.
And she hasn't heard back from the assessor's office, she didn't say?
Even if she has, she's asking us
Correct,
for the
yeah.
value in 2020.
Correct.
And she's requesting of the assessor the value for 2021.
Is there a motion on it, Kathleen, is there a motion on the table?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I think we can vote. You want
Well,
to
okay, do you want, okay. All
I mean, I'm ready to.
I'm ready to vote. This is John. I'll make a motion that we reduce the, which one is it, assessed or appraised? Assessed value to $500 for this car.
What, you want to, state the car, that's the 1997
BMW Z3,
Right,
which
but
was number one.
owned by Lori Schaefer.
Yes.
That one, okay.
And it's being reduced from its currently, the current assessed value of 3510, right?
Yep.
I'll second the motion. This is Harold. Any further discussion? All those in favor of granting the reduction to $500 assessed value? Raise your hand.
Alexis?
I vote in favor.
I have 1, 2, 3 in favor.
Thankfully, Alexis voted before.
Alexis will be 4.
Alexis would make it 4.
Oh, Alexis will make it 4. And I have
Who is
5
it? Who is it?
opposed. Opposed. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, wait a minute, I thought he was in favor.
Wait,
I think there's 3 in favor.
3 in favor, 6
Oh,
opposed.
you're opposed, got it.
And the three in favor, you can read the minority name, this is Kathleen, just for the record, so it was
Minority
Alexis,
name.
Oh.
Paulette,
Yep.
and Judy, right? Okay.
Who's left? One, two.
Two accidents
Right.
for sale.
Oh, yeah.
We have to.
Let's quickly do appeal number 3, Mr. Petrocelli. He presented information, and
Oh, he sold his vehicle, yeah.
Sold it.
Oh, yeah.
he sold his vehicle, and so, I make a motion to reduce the tax value for his vehicle to 0.
This is Ronique, I'll second that motion.
Is that, I'm not sure that's the motion. I think the motion is that he received a prorated because he sold his, he's not
In December.
disputing the value from October 2020. He's disputing that he was charged a whole year when he sold the car in December of 2020. So I think the motion is to prorate his assessment for the,
But we don't know what that number is, right?
but just to prorate his tax
Yeah.
bill that he would pay for, 3 months, October, November, and December, that he owned, and to, remove it from the tax roll.
Well, this is,
Is
I mean, if he owned it, right, October 1, 2020, he would have paid taxes all of last year for it. I'm just wondering, he sold it in December, did he not tell them until recently? So he's gonna get billed for half of it, you know, I'm a little confused. If he said
What
he
he's
sold
asking
it,
for.
a year ago in the summer, I would say, okay, I get it, he wants, the prorate for the last, but,
You're supposed to, that it doesn't always come through from the state. So he did present documents
He sold it on, December 31st.
of 2020, and he filed it at the state, but it doesn't come to the town. So
When you pay,
Kathleen is saying, I think what Kathleen's
you
saying
pay for the
is
full year?
that he had it for the full year, and this upcoming year it should be prorated.
Right.
yeah, I think you pay in arrears, not ahead.
Yeah.
So when you pay in arrears, then he would still have to pay November, December.
No, because really what he's paying for is having the car from October 1st, 19 to October 1st, 20.
Right, and he sold in December 20.
Of 20.
So you would have to
So-
pay this year for November, December, 2 months.
For the upcoming,
Exactly, so that's not having anything to do with this
So,
evaluation.
this is Peter, my question is this even something that we can, vote on, because this is about the town, doing the he's not, questioning the valuation, he's just questioning the proration, whatever you call it, use it, so, is this even something that we can vote on?
I mean, I think so, because he's not appealing 2020. He's had it for the whole year,
for the whole tax period.
for the whole tax period.
That's on the table that we're discussing.
Exactly, so that's why I'm declined to say no. I mean, the prorated amount would be on the next tax term.
Correct.
Which is only 2
Correct.
months. So what we're voting on is not because he sold it, it's because he had it for the whole year.
That's the way I see it as well, that he had the car, that we billed him for the full period that he had the car.
Right.
When he gets his next tax bill, he'll have a prorate.
Did he mention that?
To me, this was much more informational for us as a town than, just, what are we gonna do here? Okay, so as of October 1st, he owns that car.
Right.
He said he owned the car.
Right.
You're paying in arrears, so it's the
Right.
next year. His next bill is gonna be from October 1st to December 30th.
Exactly.
And that's the one that's going to be prorated, which we don't have anything to do about. We can't say
Exactly.
anything about it today because it's in the future.
Exactly.
Mr. Paul, I agree with Peter. That guy didn't even have to come here. All he had to do was go to the assessor's office and just show him the documents, and they take care of it.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do about it.
yeah, this is Kathleen, did the assessor's office tell him to come here?
I hope not.
I'm just not sure. There may have been some reason for the first 6 months of this year, or some reason that he was told, because often they'll tell them, you have to come here first if you don't submit your paperwork in time, right? If you didn't put it in, you put it in behind. So we can certainly check, or we could put a motion on the table to adjust to it so that his tax bill is, we don't give a value, just so that his tax bill appropriately reflects that he sold the car December 21st, 2020, and let them figure out what the numbers are.
For next
That's, yeah, but,
For whenever that is.
but
we
here's
really
the thing, we can't have a conversation in the future.
Right, I don't think we need to, because I think
We
once the
can't.
registration's canceled, I think it automatically tells.
No,
This goes to October one, the town bill goes to October, as of October one.
he hasn't
We
gotten
cannot
the
have a
paper.
conversation for something that happens in December. We can't have that conversation, we can't do anything about it, it hasn't happened yet. Unless you're Christopher Lloyd, and you're in, in fact, and we're driving a DeLorean, so it's not gonna happen.
Knew what it was.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe we
I
have
would,
to vote,
I would,
we have to vote
I would make a
sometime.
motion that we do not take any action. That's my motion. There's
I like that.
I like
no
that.
action on this.
I'll second that.
Yeah,
I'll go for that.
Get clarification and make sure that we, he wasn't sent here for some reason that we don't know.
All right, then, for, Peter, you're making that motion, and Paulette is seconding it?
Yes.
What was the
The
motion?
motion is to take no action and to defer to the assessor's office.
Well, the motion is what he appealed.
Well, listen, he didn't even give us the value.
He
No,
just
he
wants.
He didn't really
to-
appeal anything.
His appeal, I think
He
the
just wants off
motion
the
is
tax roll.
to,
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
just more informational.
yeah, he just wants to make sure he comes off the tax roll. I
Yeah,
don't do that.
that's why I think we could totally make a decision on it still, because, I mean, he sold it after that period, so he just has to file that paperwork if he needs to, the tax assessor's office. That doesn't reflect whatever we decide.
Do we make a motion then to?
you want me to
Oh,
go,
God.
this is Kathleen, I can go ask Ross if you want me to ask.
How we
This is the situation, this is what we wanna do we need to vote on this or not? So he doesn't have to wait another year, or he doesn't get a reduction if he's doing it. I just would rather have clarification and confirm that there's nothing we need to do, because often they'll send them here and tell them to appeal, and we don't know. So if you guys are okay, I'll take a minute and run down.
do you want to?
You can
wanna
still
take
go
the
on the other
paperwork?
one without me if you want, I'm just gonna,
You wanna take the paperwork with you?
I think what I'll do is go.
I have my
use the
notes,
rest of
we
them.
sold
I'll
in
use the rest of
December
them.
2020, that's all we need
Is
to
there
know,
one
right?
up here?
Yeah, there's-
Yeah.
Just a
You
minute.
want any?
You go,
Yeah.
go that way and go up the 3 steps, Judy, it's a couple of steps up. Go out that way, you'll see staircase, go up, and it's a couple of steps up on the left.
All right. Oh, yeah, that's right.
She said to go on without her.
We don't need it for a quorum. Do we still have a quorum?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 6. We have 6, that's enough.
Should we continue with the last two?
So we have.
There's 2? I thought there was only 1.
Should we ask?
Mr. Sargent. Mr. Sargent, what was that for you?
That 2018 Toyota Tacoma, did we
Yep.
vote it?
Truck.
Yeah.
This is number
Oh, we did
4.
not.
And he's looking to, reduce to an assessed value of $21,940.
Yes.
And that's the one that had some $6,000 in repairs.
8,000.
Yeah. I make a, well, I'll start off. I'll make a motion for appeal number 4, Mr. Sargent, to reduce to the requested value of $21,940 assessed value.
This is Ronique, I'll second that motion.
Monique seconds the motion. So, just for some discussion, he showed us a bill of repairs of $6,000. It's, he feels that, even though the price of used vehicles is holding, is going up, the fact that had the accident, and that's gonna be on the record, that the vehicle, value kind of wipes out any potential gains that he could have. His current bill is $25,180, is that correct? As I recall?
Correct.
Yes.
It is really cold in here.
I know.
Keeping us awake.
What?
Keeping us awake.
What was the 2019 value he said?
2019 was 21,420.
So somehow it went up 3,500.
What are we on? Are you talking about something else?
Number four.
Yeah, the Toyota Tacoma. That was the Toyota Tacoma.
Does anyone know, like, what kind of crew cab it is?
Oh, we're talking about Sergeant, we started
Yeah.
talking about him before I'm back and before
I'm sorry.
Kathleen's back.
Well, she said to go without her, so that's why we started.
Yeah.
We have a quote.
We got a
All
form.
right,
We didn't decide yet.
So
okay.
I made a motion to grant $21,940. Bernie seconded it. Any further discussion?
Oh, I'm right there for
Just
him.
for the record, that he came up with that number based on the clean value of the Edmunds book
Yes.
of 31,344. So at 70%, that's the number we got to, was 21,940.
What's the value of the Nada?
Didn't you guys
Remember
remember that?
that guy had an
It was pretty the
accident
same, right?
too. This guy had an accident in that car.
He
Yeah.
had the accident,
Right before the, yeah.
And
Yeah.
when he had the accident, it was, he had 10,000.
454 miles on it, yeah.
Right.
Now it's in September of 2020.
Correct.
I think the book said, 31,344, right?
That's what Edmunds, that's what he got from Edmunds.
I'm okay with Edmunds. I have no problem with Edmunds.
Neil, do you?
I'm okay with his request. You know, the car had an accident too. I mean, we're talking about, Toyota Tacoma.
Yes, I do have a tax bill here.
What year was that?
In 2018.
18. 2 years old. John, checking some paperwork, or,
Ronikas, I am, sorry.
Okay. Are we ready to
Kathleen,
vote?
do you remember last year, Harold, we had some problem with the Toyota Tacoma truck going up and down. Do you remember that?
No.
Well, they did.
Foggy on that decision,
They-
but
they
there's something,
certainly
it was
did.
either wrong somewhere on one of them, or they went up in value because of the kind of car. There was something, only because, but there is something about the Tacomas, I just don't know what it is.
Oh, do you have the Carfax? Or this is one?
This is his Edmunds report. Yep.
Oh, here it is.
Thank you for seeing.
Seriously, it was so cold. So the Nada, average trade-in, well, hold on, so what are we looking at? So, I mean, average trade-in 34,400 for the amount of miles, but of course it's not including the collision, right? So, if you take that into consideration.
The Edmunds number sounds
Yeah.
reasonable.
You have the estimate
31,344.
Yep.
Yep. It's about the same.
I'm good with that.
Any further discussion?
Is there a motion?
Yes.
All those in favor of reducing the value of Mr. Sargent's vehicle to an assessed value of $21,940, raise your hand.
You wanna make sure, Harold, that you wanna say that which vehicle it is, that's the 2018 Toyota Tacoma? I don't think you said that in the.
I did not, the 2018 Toyota Tacoma. All those in favor, raise your hand. I have 1, 2, Alexis, how do you vote?
I vote in favor.
Favor. Opposed? Kathleen, how do you vote?
I'm gonna abstain.
I have 8 in favor, no opposed, 1 abstention. Thank you. Kathleen abstains. The last one is Mr. Fiore. Appeal number 2. What was that vehicle?
Was it 2016 Audi S6?
Yes.
Or was it the A4 with the S package?
I think
It
it
was
was
the A6 with the sport package.
A6. Yes. I make a motion to reduce the value of Mr. Fiore's 2016 Audi A6, the S package, to $23,270.
I'll second that.
Judy seconds.
And that was, this is Captain Carroll, I'm sorry, that's appraised value?
That is appraised value, yes.
And it's currently appraised,
I'd have to find the paperwork.
I think it was 30,000.
I think that was the assessed value.
This is the car, right?
Yes.
MV02 is the pot, yeah.
Right here. 29,440.
And that's assessed. Okay. So we just need to come and skip you out, say what that is.
29,440 divided by the 0.7 is wrong, I just got wrong. Sorry, 29,440 divided by 0.7 equals 42,057.
That's what he's requesting.
No, that is what the town has the fair market value of the car,
What is it again? I'm sorry.
42,
Okay,
a
thank
little
you.
more than 42, 42,057, I think.
Okay, thank you.
And he's asking for the fair market value, was it 23,270?
Yes.
Okay.
This one has been in 3 accidents and,
5 years.
yeah, and he provided a Carfax with, so it's definitely out there on the market that there was some issues with it.
And the Carfax value was the 23 and change?
The Carfax was 23,270.
That would be the sale price, the full value.
Yes, the estimated trade-in value.
Okay. And then we're looking at 70% of that.
Well, but we'll just.
Yeah, well, all 3 accidents or?
Yeah.
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 Other than that, minus the 3 accidents.
Wow.
Kathy, so just to be clear, the motion was, Harold, was to
Imagine.
reduce the appraised value from 42,057 to 23,270.
Yes.
Okay. And we could talk, we could do it in a second, that's appraised. Just somebody said.
Didn't I say that?
Yeah, Judy did.
Judy.
I thought Judy did.
Now, Ms. Harold, if I'm reading this book correctly, the rough trade-in value is $34,250. The average trade-in is $37. Clean trade-in and retail is $46,175.
However, that doesn't take into account any accidents, and
No.
each accident compounds the one before. So
Yeah,
he's
great.
very reasonable
Don't ask him for a ride.
with his request.
He does have it, I don't wanna see his insurance.
Even though-
Ross doesn't have it, he's driving the Audi.
Do we have a copy of his tax bill? Did we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
what-
this is Kathleen, how did you come up with the 23? That was on,
Carfax.
Carfax.
For the trade-in value.
for a trade, not for retail. Okay.
I think you'd have trouble at retail, once they saw that Carfax.
Oh, yeah, done.
Yeah, who's buying that? Not me.
And again, this value is the assessed value,
Yes,
$29,440.
yep.
So I believe that this Maybe the 23,270 was the assessed value, not the appraised value.
That's what he's asking for, is 23,270.
Good thing.
As the, yes.
As the appraised value, but that's what's on the
No, I'm usually
contract.
not full.
So it's a 50%
No,
reduction in
This is not
appraised
good.
value.
This should be a window look. This should be a window look. We're sitting in here.
I think that's,
Oh my gosh, yeah, there should
he
be.
can still drive it.
Well, but that's
Probably warm enough.
the 42, well, I think it's 46 if it's very clean.
He was rear-ended, sideswiped, and something was $12,000.
You got.
He's been hit on every side.
Right, and then 4 wheels need to be refinished.
Well, to be honest, wheel refinish costs about $50 a wheel.
Not
Okay.
For COVID.
No, it does not cost.
Okay. Because I can't get that open.
I can get it done for $100.
Yeah, you know, like,
Okay, so I know, and it depends on the car. I know it's not.
You can, turn the temperature up a little bit.
Yeah, turn the temperature up a little.
I felt like sharing with him where he should go, because he's spending too much money for that.
Thank you, John.
Yep, no problem.
I don't know, this is Kathleen, I think that if the appraised value is 42 in the book, I just think 23, for a trade, I just think that's a little low.
Well, I think
You
a
know,
rough, a rough
again, I gotta
trade
go
is
back to
32.
those accidents, Kathleen.
I know, but he still can drive, right, still worries.
Well, but I think the rough trade-in is 32, not 40.
The rough trade-in was 30,
In the not a book or in the?
34,250.
On the not a book.
Is 31,350.
What's the exact trim?
Not a book.
Harold, what's the exact trim on this
The
one?
way you're asking for is 24.
I'm looking at the,
From the Carfax.
sedan, four-door,
Well, I might support though with a not a rough.
S6, premium, and then there's Prestige.
This is Paul, when you have an issue like that, I try to look at it this way. That book says this, he's got that. If I were gonna go buy that car, would I even buy it? And what would I pay for it if I knew that there were 3 accidents?
I mean, there's still trade-in value.
Yeah,
Oh,
they gave him a trade-in value.
Greatly diminished.
I'm just saying,
So the first one, the second one compounds the first
It's
one.
substantially lower when you have bad accidents. I just traded in a car that had 3 accidents, and my trade-in value is lowered quite substantially.
And the third one compounds the second. So each one, it gets progressively worse.
Right. We're trying to get to retail, that's kind of the number that we ask everybody else to be at.
Right?
So if we could take,
And then all the
we
different
could take his
models.
trade-in number, which is what
So
he's
there's-
giving us
but there's like
Carfax's
10
trade-in,
sedan,
to give us,
2.0, all-wheel
a
drive,
retail
Well,
number
that's
rather than a
correct.
trade-in number.
Last two numbers there.
I actually think in this instance, at that point, I think the trade-in is higher.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to go buy that car, I'd be like, I'd have to be desperate to buy it in the first place, because I would choose something else that didn't have accidents.
The trade-in, when the dealer sent the trade-in, they, had that trade-in a little bit to make the buyer
deal.
feel good. And make the
Listen,
deal.
I'm not a car expert, but, he said that the first one was just the bumper skin, right? The second one, he said sideswipe, which was $3K,
It's
repairs.
still on the
Doesn't sound like,
Carfax, no matter what.
What's the
doesn't
third
sound
one?
like, like a huge,
Is the third one when he hit the deer?
Some,
Can I see
the last
that?
one,
You never did.
But the Carfax will
That's
tell
right.
you that
That's
it's
true, they
minor.
Oh.
For the record, I was interested in a car with a salvage title, for the record. I would have
I
bought,
was too,
Salvage what?
yeah,
with salvage title.
a salvage title.
I didn't buy it though.
I didn't buy it because I thought I could steal it. And I guess I will build it. That's why
I didn't buy it either.
Here's to say anything about, knowledge.
Yeah, that's fine, I'm doing that on my end,
That's
but I just
73K on
can't
it.
find the Prestige at
It's a
October.
2006.
Yeah, this is, one,
It's 73,000 miles.
I have it.
We talked about the
Prestige.
They're on my page.
Yeah, premium and Prestige.
The next 6, right?
Premium above,
I'm gonna do
Like the
Prestige.
sport one.
and Prestige.
I think the R5.
Private party.
In fair condition. Even if I say poor condition.
Mill rate.
Are we feeling
How much
that
is
this
it?
number is too low?
But that's gonna be like a
That's my
5,000,
thought.
get down.
To go from 42 to 23.
Okay, so one of these damage reports,
Hourly rate.
You got
I already read it.
functional damage reported, that's a problem. Functional damage reported, so this was not minor, that's right in here.
Give us the details number now. So we're talking about, the difference
gave us a
between what
Carfax
that book is and what this guy wants, $135 in tax dollars?
So the trade-in according to Kelly's Blue Book, if you say it was fair condition, 25 to 29.
Although they're quibbling over the
Private party, they think that it would
Yes,
be
sport
between
packages,
28.1 and 32.
somewhere between 31 and
That's the one we're looking at.
which is, there's already, it's a $15,000 raise.
Which would be,
That way, not
If you take even the rough,
which would be
31,
like
and
right
he's
in the
asking for
range,
22.
the middle would be
That's
like
what
the,
He's asking for a fair market value of 6,000 less than the law.
He's at 42.
42, okay.
Yeah,
So
he's at 42
$40,000
right
Yeah.
now.
assessment.
Assuming, I mean, you know, it's really hard, it's so hard to
Becomes
get
$135
value because
a
you've
year.
got all the options.
I'm kinda stuck on that functional damage too, we need to remember that, that was.
I don't feel qualified for these, that's why I think it comes down to, okay, he presented a Carfax.
Yeah, I mean, Catherine and I were just talking. The guy presents a Carfax. We're not experts. He gave us information.
What do you think, right?
You looked it over. Everybody looked it over. Why are we starting with, it comes out to a minuscule amount in his actual tax bill.
35.
Why are we sitting here arguing over it?
I think we should just move forward with his request, we're right
Okay.
there.
Or
I mean,
make another motion, or like, move forward.
Yeah.
all right, I made the motion to, grant the appeal as requested. We've had some discussions.
Do we have a second, did I second?
You second. I can see why you forgot about an hour ago.
I'm just seconding,
Do we
just wanna
wanna,
make sure.
take a vote, or? It doesn't look like the number that he's seeking is supported by any of the documents that we're finding.
I would
disagree.
disagree with that.
Disagree with
No, he gave us the Carfax, there was functional damage reported even on the Carfax. He's got 3 accidents on that car, so whatever you see in, NADA is not going to take into account 3 accidents and functional damage, which is right in the paperwork that he gave us.
Yeah, so I mean, a rough trade-in through NADA is $35,050, and he's asking for $24,000.
Yeah, but roof doesn't say that there's 3 accidents.
But, I mean, clean
That's
diesel is
quite
46
different for
with
value.
the miles.
No, a rough car is much better than a car with 3 accidents.
That's a big difference to go to from a rough trade-in value of $35,000 to $24,000. That's over $10,000.
That car's only,
Accidents.
that car's only 5 years old and he's got 73,000 miles on it.
With
That
functional,
includes that,
8,000.
that includes the miles.
I
with
just don't,
functional damage on it
I
and
just
3
don't see-
accidents, no.
Is there a motion, is anyone making
Yeah.
a motion to amend the amount, or are we just gonna vote on the 23?
Oh, no, let's vote on it tomorrow. No.
I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, the guy's got, I don't see the problem. It comes out to like, Catherine was just doing that, it comes out to $135 in tax money. Are we gonna sit here for another hour over $135? It's ridiculous.
Well, there's that, and there's, and to add in, a car that's over 5, like, if you go to trade in your car, it has to be less than 5 years, otherwise it goes to a different auction. His is 5 years, so that dings it off. It has to be somewhere in the 60s. You hit 70,000 miles, that goes to another auction. Boom, you're dinged right there. So I would agree, if you start with the 35 and he's asking for the ding, is 10,000 worth of the 5-year mark? Is it worth the higher miles of over 70,000? It will have to go to auction, or is it worth 3 accidents? That's where I'm coming up with, you're right, he's aggressively asking for $11,000.
And this is Kevin,
But does that
everybody
count?
else to pay everyone else pays taxes on retail, that's the
I think
number that
that-
we use. So I just, only because he gave us a trade number, he didn't give us retail.
Oh.
So that's,
All right,
that's
I'm
why.
gonna call the vote. All
Yeah,
those in
just vote.
favor of granting this appeal to the requested value of, was it, $23,270 value? Raise your hand.
Alexis?
Alexis?
I don't vote in favor.
Alexis?
How do you vote?
Yes. I vote no.
Oh, she votes no.
All right, 1, 2, 3,
Are you sure it was no?
4.
You sure that was no? I didn't hear you.
All those in opposed, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Alexis.
Unbelievable.
Okay.
Unbelievable. Anybody looking for a car, just go right down there and buy his for
This is Kathy.
$31,000.
So you didn't make a decision on the one other one, right, from the gentleman when I went down to?
One, two,
No.
three, zero.
What did you find out?
So we have that one left. So the answer is yes. He has up until December of 2022 to turn any paperwork he has in to be prorated. So we would never vote on prorating.
Okay.
Nothing that they would send somebody to us for. So he perhaps thought that the tax bill, was for this year and not for last year. So he's good as long as he turns his paperwork in.
Okay.
So whether we had a motion, for the minutes, we do need a motion, but maybe no action is, or we can just deny it, because they've got, whatever you guys want to do, no action.
I don't think.
Yes,
I think no action is better than a denial.
Yeah, just give them no action. We shouldn't be involved in it, so no action works for me.
I'd like to no action for him.
I like to no action, because we shouldn't be involved in it.
No action to go on.
No, he was appealing,
Are you okay with
yeah,
the
because he
vote?
thought he couldn't get his line, and he can. He has up until December 2022 to file
So,
Is he going to be informed of how to file the paperwork and where,
I left Ross with the information to check and see.
and to
whether-
reach out? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think, again, with COVID and the offices
Yeah.
being closed, I think there was just confusion. I know I have personally had to bring down documents.
He said he had 2,000 of them to process just in the summer or whatever, of people doing things with the prorating. So they do a lot of it, down there, so.
That's what they get paid to
Kathy,
do.
I just want to make sure, Kathy, do you have a motion for that one that you can,
Again,
that we
we're
can
taking this
Well,
make some minutes of?
so,
And again, you're taking
for
this.
appeal number 3,
They get
I
too much
have
work to do.
Peter made a motion to take no action and Colette seconded.
That sounds right, yes?
Yeah, that's right.
So I don't know.
Is no action a affirmative decision or not? Like, the motion needs to be in the affirmative, not a negative. So we're not supposed to be making motions to deny. The
Right.
question is,
we're not, they're
Let's
not
vote to
denying
take action, and then everybody votes no. How
We're
about
not
that?
taking any action on it.
So the motion was
To take no action. I know that's negative, but
Yeah.
it's a
Okay.
positive, it's a decision. We
It's a decision.
We vote positively to decide to take.
We're positively not gonna take any
All
action.
those in favor of taking no action, raise your hand.
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody, all right.
All those in favor of no action, raise your hand. Alexis?
Hello, Alexis.
Can you just restate the motion, please?
That's the question,
So we're not-
I don't know.
We're not-
Maybe
we're
ask
taking-
us. Motion to do what he
You
asked.
agree to take proration of the sale,
The gentleman that sold his car, and it doesn't want to be charged taxes in the coming year.
Okay. Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah, I vote in favor of taking no action.
All right, it's unanimous,
Yeah.
9-0-0.
Thank God.
All right, now we're moving to, next part of our agenda, which is, item number 4, to approve the following hearing minutes. These are the hearing minutes, and, I believe that we have 2 dates when we decided to hold hearings for individuals that were either delayed or could not attend, and we accommodated them and we held hearings. Kathleen?
I have a question on this.
Yes?
Go ahead, Kathleen, sorry.
Yeah, I just was gonna say, it wasn't that they didn't attend, the April 28th one, their letter actually got returned in the mail. So they never got their notification letter, and it never got it went into the person's file, but we never knew that the person never got their notice. So that's why we gave them a hearing in late, the April 28th one, and the April 1st was a miscommunication in emails from the office. So that's why we did that one day later.
All right.
So that's the reason why they were in April. Normally, they have to be in March, but we allowed them, right?
So I will ask the secretary to please read the minutes.
I'd like to vote in favor of not reading them.
All right, well, I was going to say.
I'll second that. My laptop broke.
I do have a question though, Mr. Chairman. This is Alexis Harris speaking. So the minutes are before us. These are meetings that we've all attended, or some of us, like, I'm just not clear on that.
The first, item number 4 is for the 2 dates when we held additional hearings. And, so I would like to add to what I said earlier. I
wanted to, like, were we all there? Because I suggest people who were not there not vote in favor of adopting those minutes if they weren't there. Because I'm not really clear what meetings I was attending or what meeting I wasn't at. So maybe we can just make that clear in the notes. Can the secretary maybe do that?
These were hearings, not the deliberations. These were one-on-one hearings, and I believe that Kathleen, were you the person who did those hearings?
Kathleen, yeah, I was the one who heard both of them, and the hearings were recorded.
They were recorded, yes. So I make a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes, but I think for the record, we can state the dates of those hearings.
Sure, so
so the motion's on the table. I'll second that motion.
I'm very curious as to why we're approving hearing minutes on just these 2, when what about all the other hearings we had throughout the whole time?
This is Kathleen. We actually approved all the March hearing ones, on our very last meeting in March 31st. We approved, I don't know, however many sets of hearing minutes there were for March, all the ones that Catherine put together in the office.
This year, we approved in February, and the board members were present. The meeting that we had in January, was it?
December organizational meeting.
The December organizational meeting, and then also at the end of March, we approved the hearing minutes when we completed those hearings, and that's why we have these 2 that are extant after that. So I do make a motion to dispense the reading of the minutes because a draft of the minutes and their associated recordings have been sent to all members and have on the BAA website. So, are there any corrections to these minutes?
No.
No?
I'm not trying to nitpick here. I promise you. I'm just unclear why we're adopting them now versus last spring.
We approved minutes up until until April. So these are minutes that came in afterwards. So we have those 2 dates, April 1 and April 28th, where we had hearing
but we
minutes.
met after May. Didn't we meet after May, I thought?
But we didn't
May?
approve.
Those were deliberations.
Yeah, these are just simply hearings. Because these were the people whose mail was lost and they didn't get the notice in time. And so that's why they had set up. So we never approved those 2 dates for minutes. And they're just for hearing minutes.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, I was at the hearing. I'm sure it went fine, but I'm not going to vote on this.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes for April the 1st and April the 28th, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Opposed? Raise your hand. Alexis is opposed. Abstentions? 2 abstentions. Okay. So the vote is 6 in favor, 2 opposed, 1 abstention.
No, 2 abstentions. 2 abstentions.
Opposed, 2 abstentions.
abstention.
One opposed, two abstentions, yes.
And who seconded it?
I believe
Kathleen.
Kathleen.
Kathleen did. Yeah.
Or Alexis did too, I think.
I thought Alexis did.
You made the motion to waive the reading of the minutes. I don't know if we voted on the waiving of the reading of the minutes, but. And then the original motion was.
I don't know that we have to vote on waiving the reading of the minutes.
No, I don't think we need to.
I think we're
do?
we're waiving the reading, right?
Yeah, you said you were dispensing with the reading of the minutes. That's your word.
Oh, do you?
Dispensing.
All right.
If there's a really long
Let us move
resolution
along.
on
What's
it,
number
that's
two?
on the agenda,
Right, okay.
someone will make a motion to waive the reading of the minutes.
Let's see, what do we know?
Oh, I see, so that's what Alexis did.
All these, yeah, no.
Got it.
now
So
we're-
Carol, this is Kathleen, technically, yes, you do vote to waive, if your motion was to wait, to read them, then she voted to waive the reading, so I assume everybody's in favor of not reading the minutes, right? So that was a 9-0 vote, or we can take the vote on that. And then you vote on the actual minutes.
Does anyone, want to read the minutes? No.
No, so I think the vote
So
was
the vote is
unanimous to waive.
9-0 to waive. And now we move to, item number 5 on the agenda, to approve the following deliberation session minutes, which are listed here.
You're gonna have to read every single, meeting on there to have it in the record.
Yes.
You want me to do that quick?
Well,
Or-
first of all, let me ask, for a vote, to dispense with the reading of the minutes.
Oh,
All
I
those
second
in
that
favor-
motion.
All those in favor, raise your hand. Alexis? Are you-
I vote in favor.
All right, it's unanimous, 9-0.
And again, I'm not trying to, I'm just curious, that these are deliberations, the ones that we're voting on
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
Okay, and do we know who was present at all these deliberations? Because I know I wasn't at all of them, certainly.
Yes, the minutes of,
So
the
I'm
minutes
going to only
that-
vote for ones that I was at, so I don't know if there's a way to look at that, or...
well, I think that, the options that we had was to review the minutes that were sent out to us and to see if there was any issues with the minutes. And, for example, I read through all the minutes and I compared them to the voting results to make sure that they jived, and they did. And so I think we all have the opportunity to review the minutes, and if we wish to, listen and view the recordings of the deliberations. So, I mean, I personally did. If there was any questions in the minutes, I did review the recordings, and I didn't come up with anything substantial. So, if you wish to, are you saying that we should vote on each date separately? Alexis, is that what you're asking?
I mean, it would be expedient. I mean, that's probably not in the best interest, but I mean, I usually it's custom that you vote on meetings that you attended.
All right, this is Kathleen. I did send out a spreadsheet with the 41 minutes listed, and over to the right, Catherine in the office put it together. It listed who was at every meeting and how long you were at the meeting, whether you were there for the whole time or half of it or not at all. So that was in the spreadsheet that I sent out. Now, how we turn that into without going through the 41 sets of minutes and voting on each one individually. And we certainly can take the time to do that if you want, or I could attach that spreadsheet to the minutes, and then the motion would be to approve the minutes for the meetings that you were at. And if you vote to agree to that, then, it's using the spreadsheet, in other words, as backup for the vote. So that if Monique wasn't at the 9th meeting, his vote doesn't count for meeting 1 and 9, but it counts for, 2 through whatever. So we could do it that way. You could say the minutes as, on the sheet.
I say, I mean, it doesn't change the result of the vote. Why couldn't we just approve all of the minutes for deliberation? I mean, I don't know why there's any kind of question.
Well, I guess, does anybody have any concerns about any of the minutes?
Well, I guess-
Actually, I do.
I have one change.
I guess the question is, are there any corrections to the minutes?
This is Kathleen, I do, yeah, I have a
Yes.
correction.
What is your correction?
Sure, so for the March 9th, minutes, appeal number, 268, the, reduction amount is listed as $385,200, and it should be $340,000. Actually, the ask amount was $385,200, and we reduced it to $340,000. I went back and listened to the tape, and that was, that's correct. It was for the 60 Mona Terrace, the listed owner was Robert E. Anderson, trustee. It was unanimous approval. So the minutes just have the wrong amounts in it. So we can change that to 340.
Yeah, I'm not questioning the minutes, just for the record. I just, you know, I understand that there are a lot of court cases happening with, you know, the decisions made by this board, and, you know, I don't want to say I was at a meeting when I wasn't at a meeting. That's all. There are a lot of, you know, appeals happening with the Superior Court right now, from what I understand.
Are there any other corrections to the minutes? Yes, Paulette?
Yes, there are several corrections to the minutes. Based on Robert's rules, the minutes are incorrectly done. They contain information that shouldn't be in them. So that every one of those on the list is wrong. So if we're not gonna follow Robert's rules, I'm good with that, because I'm not a rules person. But if that's the system we were using, then we've not used the system for the minutes. I didn't know this until Kathleen sent me an email with the information in it.
I read the information as well.
Mm-hmm. So you then know that there's stuff in there that shouldn't be there, so how do we correct it?
As chairman, I approve the information that was included in the minutes.
Okay, so then you're okay with the fact that everything on this list, most of it is in the minutes and shouldn't be, but that's okay. Just so I'm clear.
Wait, can you,
Yes.
can you just let us know, like, what is not in there that shouldn't be in there?
Yeah, there's a whole list of things. The names of the person who seconds the motion doesn't belong in there. Let's see. The names of members speaking in favor or opposed to motions and statements. Opinions, we don't have those. The number of members who abstained. Except when you do a roll call vote, which we don't do, we do a show of hands 99% of the time. Let's see. A member's reason for voting, we don't have that. And any member's demand for his or her remarks to be included in the minutes, which we didn't do. I wanted it done, and nobody would do it because it's not proper, based on Robert's rules, and it's right, it isn't proper. So, there's several things that are wrong with how the minutes are set up and done. And we're following Robert's rules. If we weren't following Robert's rules, I don't care. I don't care what, I don't like them. I don't believe in them. I don't think we should be using them. It's not appropriate for this meeting. But that's what we chose to use all the way through. That's the standard we held for the whole session. And now it's in there, but it doesn't belong there.
Well, I think that the fact that we have conducted these 41 meetings plus, and we've gone along with the procedure of giving the vote and also listing how people voted, and no one complained about it before, that all was done.
Okay.
And as a chairman, I don't see a problem with how we conducted that, because we follow, say, a hybrid Robert's rules. Now, that's not to say that next year, when the BAA meets, the members who are elected or appointed to the board at that time can change the way they want to operate. And the chair at that time can set the rules that they want the board to follow.
And I also believe that the information that we have in the minutes that was additional had no impact on the appellant. It was our names that was being seconded, and it was our names who were objecting. So I don't believe that any additional information that we provided above that was any impact to the appellant.
And this is Kathleen, I don't think that you can't do it, I just think you don't have to do it.
Because it does not belong.
All the other boards were at the RTM, all the other boards, who seconded it, they record the votes. Usually if it's not a unanimous vote, they list who's ever in the minority of the vote going backwards. So that's been the tradition in town to do the minutes that way. So I don't think it's not legal to do it, I just don't think you have to do it. And in some of the other boards, if people won't comment in their minutes, the comments can be added. For this particular board, because there's so much comment and it can get really difficult with the residents or the homeowners, it's never been the tradition to put board members' comments in the minutes just because you would never be able to get them done. And we have them recorded, so anybody who wants to hear what the board members say can go back. But that being said, if somebody wants a specific comment in the minutes, I think,
I think the thing,
We can vote on that.
I think the thing here is that if you start off your meeting, or you start off a whole session, and we're following Robert's Rules of Order, then we should follow Robert's Rules of Order. If you can't switch back to Robert's Rules of Order when it helps your cause, and then not go to Robert's Rules of Order because it doesn't help your cause. You can't switch back. It's either one or the other. And I think that's what it is. I mean, to me, doing, I can't vote on any of these minutes. I'm not gonna vote on anything. Just, so you can go ahead and do what you gotta do, but I'm not gonna vote on it. I don't think it's proper. The very first thing I did, I remember when I first entered into the public domain, we'll say, in the 80s, I bought Robert's Rules. And I bought the Robert's Rules, I read the book, so I know. This all just doesn't seem right.
So this is Carol.
So that's
Didn't mean to cut you off.
It's okay.
But, you don't have to vote for or against, or you can also abstain. That's your prerogative. But I don't think that you can, you have to say, if there's to be a correction, you have to say what the correction should be and the reason for it, okay? But
I just did.
So you're saying the correction should be just taking off the second motion, and then people who,
Yep, they should.
and then,
If we're gonna use Robert's Rules, yes. If we're not using them, then whatever you wanna put in there is fine.
so hold on, you're saying so you're basically removing anyone who seconded the motion, and then anyone that had a minority vote, their names be removed.
Anybody who abstained, too.
Right, so the minority vote and any abstention and second motion to be removed. That's it, right?
In favor or opposed, so even the people who are in favor of it shouldn't be on there.
So that's literally just our names. It has nothing to do with the motions, has nothing
It has nothing to do, right, it has nothing to do with the outcome. It has everything to do with the procedure, which all through the whole thing, all I kept hearing every time I objected to something was, oh, Robert's Rules, Robert's Rules. Now we can have modified Robert's Rules, because it's convenient. Because it's convenient,
It has
not because it's right. If you're gonna follow the rules, you're gonna follow the rules. The rules are the rules.
But you're following Robert's Rules in favor of the appellant. This has nothing to do or impact of the
And you would know that, why? You an expert on Robert's Rules?
I'm just saying, I think it's pretty semantic, and I do believe that we provided additional information, and we could essentially provide that information. It's not like we broke a law by providing a second motion and the minority vote names in there.
Well, like Kathleen said, there's a lot of the public interest in this, right? So you're publishing something, now they heard it, but not everybody was listening. There's people read that and say, oh, you know what?
It's recorded, though.
Kathleen, not everybody listens.
So it's still recorded.
But can I just say, I think that in improving the minutes, we're saying that, the decisions that were made accurately.
Right.
Whether you agreed with the decision or not.
Right.
So there is no impact in the, let's say violations of Robert's Rules
Right.
that occurred to the decision making. I mean, if you feel there is, then that's something we should discuss. But there doesn't appear to be any impact to the decisions that we made as a board, and therefore, I don't, if you have a correction that, I don't even think that, I'm not sure that the corrections that you're asking for are necessary. I mean, that's in my opinion.
And we didn't even break Robert's rules. We provided additional information that we didn't need.
That's not, but that's not how it works. The rule is the rule. You didn't follow the rule. It doesn't matter if you provide additional information. They don't,
We didn't really
sometimes,
follow Robert's rules, we followed a hybrid version of it, just for the record.
No, that's not.
that was a hybrid version?
I would
There
like
is
to
no
say that this year was
There is no
very
hybrid version.
unique. This is Harold. This year was very unique. Not only do we have a very large number of appeals to work through, and we needed to do that within a certain time frame, but this year, because of the COVID requirements, all meetings, all hearings, all deliberations were recorded in real time, except for perhaps one or two when there were technical difficulties, but there is a video and audio record of each and every meeting that we had, and the minutes are substantiated by those recordings. So the minutes were checked by the assessor's office, by me, by whoever wanted to check them, and a correction was made. And I'll ask one more time, are there any other corrections to be made to the minutes that are significant to the appeals decisions?
I have no more to say, except that I'm not voting on these minutes either.
All right, then, since there are no corrections, the minutes are approved.
Actually, there are corrections, you just won't make them.
No, wait a minute, Kathleen had a correction.
I did, I had that one correction. Yep.
And I asked if there are no others.
Well, there are, but you won't acknowledge them, so I guess in your mind there aren't.
Why do you say that?
I said there were corrections needed to be made, you refused to acknowledge them, so you're the chairman, in your mind, there's nothing wrong with it. So I guess in your mind, there are no other corrections.
Well, you can still vote.
I'm not voting on those minutes.
Okay. And I would agree with what Ronnie said, that things that do not go into the minutes are not necessarily the things that can't go in the minutes, but things that don't have to go in the minutes.
It says not to be included.
No, it
That's all.
says things that do not go into the minutes.
Right, things that do not go into the minutes. Do not means don't. It doesn't mean maybe sometimes. Right here, it says, do not, things that do not go into the minutes. It
That
doesn't say,
doesn't mean that they can't.
okay, do not speed, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't. Okay,
You can speak.
do not eat that, but that doesn't mean I
You
shouldn't.
can eat.
But it doesn't mean it's right.
Doesn't mean it's.
I'm looking at the rules,
Doesn't
and
mean
it
it's
does
right.
not say do not.
It says it right in the thing, like, there's a whole section of do not, does not.
The body portion of the minutes need to include this info.
Yeah, I know you do, and I have it here, Kathleen sent it to me. You know, I would have said nothing about it if she wasn't so good at sending me information.
Well, we're trying to be as open and, with information, okay? And take it for what you will. Take the good, take the bad, decide yourself how you feel about it. But we still are at the point, where we have these minutes. And for the record, if someone would like to read the dates, we will add them to the minutes. But since there are no corrections, the minutes are approved, and that is my prerogative.
With the one correction, Mike.
With the one correction. Does anyone want to read the dates of the minutes for the record?
If you want me to read them, I'll read them quickly.
All the votes, we do need to vote, is that right?
We don't need to vote
You don't
on,
need to vote on the minutes?
no,
You don't need,
on the approval of the minutes.
I thought we did.
Yeah, I don't think we need to read them, we all have them, right?
Yes. Do we need to vote on the approval of the minutes?
That's what it's not really clear on that, but
yeah,
I think it's
you need to vote.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be unanimous too, if I'm not mistaken, but I thought I
Formal
read that in
motion to
here.
approve the minutes is not necessary. The only proper way to object to the approval of the secretary's draft of the minutes is to offer a correction to it. With that, with or without a formal motion, to say, are there any corrections? I mean, if we're gonna, we have, again, it's always been our, saying to vote on the approval of minutes, but.
Was there a time limit on when you have to approve the minutes? So you could approve the minutes like 5 months afterwards?
That's number 7, we didn't get there yet.
Yeah, so, do you want to take a vote on the minutes anyway, or we'll just leave it? I don't care. They're accepted, right? Is that
They're
what you're
accepted.
saying?
The minutes are accepted. Okay, so, Julie, you volunteered to read through the dates?
I'll read the dates, and I'm gonna go fast, okay?
Yeah. You don't have to give the day of the week.
Okay.
Month one, and then just.
So we have March 4th, March 6th, March 9th, March 11th, March 13th, March 15th, March 16th, March 18th, March 20th, March 22nd, March 23rd, March 24th, March 25th, March 27th, March 29th, March 30th, March 31st, April 1st, April 5th, April 6th, April 7th, April 8th, April 12th, April 13th, April 14th, April 15th, April 19th, April 20th, April 21st, April 22nd, April 26th. We have in here twice, by the way.
You have an AM and a PM.
Okay. And that's AM, PM, April 27th, AM and PM, April 28th, April 29th, April 30th, May 3rd, May 4th, May 6th, May 12th.
Thank you.
I'm gonna try for FedEx commercial.
All right, I'd like to move to item number 6. And I'd like to share with the board a brief summary of the real estate appeals that we heard this past spring. On the residential side, of the 475 total decisions that were made, 172 were granted in full. That's 36.21%. 88 were granted in part for another 18.53%, for a total of 260 appeals that were granted or granted in part, which was 54.74% of all appeals. And 215 were denied, 45.26%. So more than half the people got some or all of their requested value changes. As a result, the grant list was reduced from, just on the residential side, from $346,083,880 to $322,698,466, or a difference of $23,385,435. That's $23,385,425. It was about a 6.76 reduction. Now, I found out that Fairfield has a total of 19,861 residential properties, and so this reduction added approximately $1,177.45 on average per resident's tax bill.
How much was that again?
$1,177.45. And of all of the appeals that were denied, 39 of the appeals are going to Superior Court for further consideration. Now, that could be, I don't know if it's people who were denied completely or, it would be those that were denied. On the commercial side, there was 156 total decisions. 10 were granted and 16 were granted in part. 130 were denied. We know that those were the ones that we chose not to hear. And 67 are appealing to the Superior Court. So just about half of those that were denied are appealing to the Superior Court. And you can assume that maybe those would have gone to the Superior Court anyway if we had not heard them. So I just want to share that. Oh, by the way, 16 appeals from the Fairfield Beach Road out of the 67 appeals that we had on Fairfield Beach Road are going to the courts as well. 2 of which are Beach Creek properties and 14 were individual properties. So there is some further appeals that are going to the courts from the beach area. 39 residential appeals out of the 475 are also appealing to the courts. Well, that's the total, I should say. 39. That includes the 16. Okay. Well, that's, I believe, the summary that
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Do we have any, I mean, I know we can't get a number because you don't know how long it's gonna take, but do we have any idea, those people that are going to court, whether they win or lose, how much does it cost us to have an attorney go to court?
I don't know, but it's probably less than what the savings would be to the town.
Depending on, depending on how long he goes and what they settle on.
Yeah, but I think that the attorneys are practiced in doing these kinds of
Yeah, they just go and they work a deal, so everybody feels the pain.
Typically, they work a deal.
Yes.
So, it's, you can look at it as a win-win or a lose-lose.
Harold, I appreciate the, analysis. Do you have any comparison to, years past?
Years past, some years were more, larger percentage were granted, some years were less. It really depended on the appeals. I don't have the specific, we can get those from the assessor. Any questions? All right. Then, item number 7, does anyone wish to bring up any additional property before the board? Yes, Paulette.
Yes, Judy brought it up already, but I was gonna bring it up before that, so the question is, why were we voting on deliberation minutes now that happened in March and April? Is there a reason why there was such a delay in
March,
voting?
April, and May, yes.
March, April, well, May is, yeah, that was at the end, so I guess
Yeah.
maybe there wasn't enough time, but March and April.
You know, there's been a lot of emails going back and forth on this topic, and the fact that we have done it this way before was not an acceptable answer to some of the board members. So all I can say is that as chair, I chose to do it this way. I felt that we were so time pressed to complete our deliberations in the time frame that was allowed to us by the state, and from the state through our first select woman, that we could not utilize any of the time that we were dedicating to complete our deliberations to any other topics. And so, since I, as chairman, control the agendas, I chose not to add the voting on the minutes to any other agenda. If it had been suggested to put it on the agenda by anyone, we might have considered it, but I chose not to put it on the agenda until this agenda. And that's why we are voting, we voted on them today.
We didn't vote on them today, though.
Well, we brought them up, and...
But we didn't vote, we didn't take a vote.
Correct, we did not vote. But just as we heard other minutes from our organizational meeting in February, and just as we heard the minutes on the hearings that we added to our agenda in the end of March, this was added to this agenda, because that's when we had the time to. And going forward next year, the board and whoever the chair is can decide to do it on a different time frame. But since it's already past the days that we could have done it, I have no other answer than to say that this is what I chose to do since I control the agenda as the chair.
Then I guess my next question would be then, if that's all it was, Why did it take 5 emails to never get an answer, and now we're having it now? Couldn't anybody just answer an email? There wasn't time?
Because you didn't like the answer that I would have given you, Paul.
I just gave me an answer. I can't argue with that. I don't like it, but I can't argue about it. We didn't have time, we didn't have time. What are you gonna do? So instead of that, you just let me keep emailing as a control mechanism, which you and Kathleen are very good at, to just, you know, keep this going and going, just to piss me off.
I
That was
cannot
nice.
stop you from writing what
You know,
you
Harold,
want.
really,
I cannot
a chair
stop
is
you from writing what you
the
want.
chair's supposed to be able to control things, but your control is like dictatorship. You do what you want, when you want, when it's convenient for you. Like, let's not vote on this, let's not use Robert's rules. Okay, well, let's use Robert's rules, because now it's convenient for me. Thank God there'll
Is
be a
there
new
any
board
other
next year.
business before the board?
I could go on, but I'll stop. It's getting too late.
Does anyone?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
John makes a motion to adjourn, Peter makes a motion, seconds the motion. Thank you very much, and, thank you all for your help and support this past year.
Thank you,
Thanks, everybody.